Hello everybody and welcome to the Tundra Super Sim series presented by Loco Toco Designs. This is Derek Robinson with you here tonight for the 300 Laps Fest 300 presented by Midwest Powersports. I'm not alone here this week. This week I do have a co-commentator, and you may have seen this guy race with us before. He does a little commentating himself on the side. It's with Ian Lane. Ian, how are you today?
Doing really well, Derek. How are you?
Doing extremely well. Super excited about tonight's race. I appreciate you coming up to the booth and joining us. Like I said, it's 300 laps tonight. Long race. Are you expecting anything, out of these guys in particular, or what are you looking for here tonight?
Well, with the competition caution at lap 100, I mean, I would assume the race is going to be pretty. Hopefully, it's pretty spread out. First 100 laps, everybody takes it easy. We've seen a lot of big races before, where people will just really drive aggressively, but since there's a competition caution coming at lap 100, hopefully the first half of the race will be fairly clean. Irwindale, plenty of room to race, so hopefully we'll have a really interesting night here. 300 laps, long time. You got to be there at the end to have a shot, so you don't want to be too aggressive too early.
Absolutely. I think the first half of the race is going to be all about survival and, kind of filling your car out and seeing what everyone has. But if you were here with us last week for the pole night, you would have seen that Tom Majeski, Wisconsin's very own, qualified P1, and Joe Schaefer Jr. qualified outside of him from Greenway, Wisconsin. Now there was an 8-car invert that basically converted the top 8 cars. So Brandon Wilkinson will be your pole sitter here to start off the race with Bill Martin on the outside of him, starting out in P2. So with that invert, it's going to be interesting to see exactly how hard Tom Majeski and Joe Schaefer Jr., who have been fast these whole, qualifying night and here for the practices leading into tonight's race, see how hard they push to get up to the front, if they do at all, if they sit there and ride. So look out for those guys for sure. This is a regular season's point series race, so you also got to look out for the top guys in the points to have strong runs here. Jimmy Mullis is your current points leader with Zach Novak and Joe Schaefer Jr. running out your top 3 into the points, and it's very close. It's a 16 points separating those 3 drivers. So keep an eye out for those guys, and your top 5 finishers here tonight will also win a little bit of prize money. They haven't announced what that prize money is yet, so it really doesn't matter for these guys. I think they're going to battle if there was no prize money on the line or if there was a lot. So keep an eye out for that. And then there's also a Dynamic Autosports Hard Charger Award for the driver that gains the most positions in tonight's race. Ty Spearman and Keith Mineros are not eligible for those, as they did not qualify last week, but they were locked into the race. But before we go any further, let's see if we can pull in the series admin here, Matt Rolfe. I know he's out there doing some practice laps currently. See if we can get him pulled in here and get him some any words or anything that he may have for us going forward. Matt, thanks for joining us here tonight. I appreciate you dropping in for just real quick while practice is going on. I already gave someone, or the audience there, let them know about the prize money and the points. Ian's let them in a little bit on the competition caution. What are you looking for tonight with that competition caution, leading up to the first 100 laps? What are you looking out of these guys, or looking for these guys tonight?
Well, hopefully we all settle in pretty early here. It's a long race for sure. And knowing that there's a competition caution at lap 100, you just got to take it easy early on just to settle in for a while. Make some moves early on, get a couple spots here and there, but got to remember that there's 200 laps after that. So hopefully these guys, they have some patience early on. They don't force the issue too much. And then after that break, we'll hopefully settle back in once again and race it up from there. But it'll be interesting to see what guys do, because that competition caution is not required for everyone to pit. They don't have to if they don't want to, but they're going to risk it if they don't pit, and we have a long green flag run after that. They might have to pit on the green, which would be the worst case scenario. So it throws a little bit of strategy into it, but hopefully everyone just takes it easy for a while.
Yeah, Matt, I see you're starting back in 18th spot tonight. I believe you're a former race winner at Irwindale, if I'm not mistaken, in the super late model. Do you have any plans to move forward in this race? Do you think the bottom line is going to come in? Do you think the top line is going to be preferred? How do you see that playing out?
Yeah, I didn't have a very good qualifying run last week, mainly because I was already locked into the race and I didn't really focus too much on the qualifying setup. But I have won here before. When I won the race, I used quite a bit of the apron, mainly in 3 and 4, but really on both ends of the track. That was different weather conditions. We got some overcast here tonight, so there's a lot of grip everywhere else as well. So I don't know for sure if we can get that bottom group to work in, but I think we'll see guys definitely move around and try some things. So hopefully as the main group rubbers up, we can hopefully I plan to move down a little bit, and I'm sure some guys will start moving up to the high side too. We see guys like DK and a few others do that as well. So I definitely think we'll see the line move around quite a bit.
All right, Matt. Well, and do you have anything else or any other things or shout outs you want to give here before we, let you be on your way to finish out your admin duties and get some more practice in?
No, I just want to thank you guys for doing the broadcast tonight, and thanks to Midwest Powersource for being the sponsor, and then Tundra AAA Models and Loco Toco Design for being the series sponsors as well.
All right. Well, good luck tonight.
Thanks.
All right. Thanks, brother. That was our series admin and fearless leader, Matt Rolfe. Look for him. He'll be in the 5 car tonight. And like Ian said there, he's going to be starting 8th. But Matt has won here once before. And for us and our team, as I'm part of Matt's team, we have a pretty unique setup that runs the bottom pretty well. So maybe he'll try to do that there. Like he said, the Midwest Powersource is the sponsor for tonight's race, for the Springfest 300. And Midwest Powersource is a full service provider for complete remanufacture for your EMD and CAT diesel engines and components. Jason Tarasenko is the one that has been put up the money and everything for the sponsor. So we're going to try to get a word in with him here. So maybe you can tell us a little bit more about the Midwest Powersource. Jason, thanks for joining us up here in the booth tonight, and thanks for sponsoring the race. Could you tell us just a little bit more about what Midwest Powersource is and what all that they do?
Yeah, absolutely, man. So Midwest Powersource is a engine rebuilder for large diesel engines used in locomotives, tugboats, genset applications, things like that. But yeah, mostly locomotives, anywhere from 1,200 horsepower to 4,000 horsepower is kind of what we deal with on a daily basis, and do the complete rebuilds and provide all the rebuilt parts for them and things like that.
All right, awesome. And where can people go? They're out here watching this race here tonight. Where can they go to find out more information? Is there a website or on social media plugs?
Yeah, absolutely. You can check out www.midwestpowersource.com. You can also go on Facebook and search up J&L Consulting, which is my other company that we do other parts and pieces for locomotives as well as locomotives and things like that. So lots of good pictures of our guys in action doing service work and stuff like that, and big cranes, and guys are into sort of the big equipment stuff.
Yeah.
Lots of good stuff there.
All right, that's awesome. And we appreciate sponsoring the race here tonight for this 300 lap race at Irwindale. So I know you've raced with us once before, and you're a driver in of yourself. So even though you won't be out here racing tonight, what are you expecting to see from these guys tonight here at Irwindale? It always puts on a great race.
Yeah, unfortunately we're headed out. I got to catch an early flight here, so we didn't plan on doing this race. But it's going to be an interesting race. 300 laps is, I think we've done some 250 lappers, but 300, that extra 50 laps is going to be a big difference, especially at this track. It's a little bit tough to pass. It's going to be interesting because it's very cold. It's got lots of grip, I think. So it's going to be see how many lines come in. I'm sure there's going to be lots of rubber laid down. I think we're going to see guys on the apron. It's one of those tracks that there's lots of grooves. We got lots of good racers here. You could see that from qualifying how tight it was. It's going to be a very interesting race to watch.
Hey, that it is. Do you have any race favorites or anybody that's in particular that you're planning on watching to maybe see if they can pull a victory out?
Yeah, well, I'd be rooting for my teammates, but I don't think Adam's able to make it, and I know Sam got stuck at work, so he won't be able to make it. I think Alan Pajari is going to be in it, so we'll probably be rooting for him, but there's going to be some really fast guys up front. It's good to see Ty Majeski back out and supporting the series here, and it's going to be a good race. It's going to be interesting to see how it all plays out. It's going to be definitely a patience game. It's going to be interesting to see when and how far guys go on tires. Normally we try and wait as long as possible, but at this track, a little bit different than cautions and what we've seen at Five Flags and stuff like that. So I don't know if guys are going to really gamble and really wait late in the race in order to get those tires. So it's going to be a very interesting race.
All right. Well, I appreciate your insight on that. Like I said, once again, for all the admins, even for the racers out there, thanks for sponsoring the race here tonight, so that we can put on this show, and be safe on your travels there, and hopefully you can stick around to watch a little bit part of the race.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'd like to thank you guys for doing this broadcast, and Matt for all that he does. And I'm looking forward to the Dynamic Autosports guys, whoever can make it out, doing well and putting it in victory lane.
All right, bud. Well, thank you, and you have a good rest of the night.
You bet. Thank you.
All right. All right, and that was Jason Tarasink. Like I said, he was the main person to sponsor the race here tonight. We're coming close here down to the end of this for these guys. We're getting the last few practice laps in before the admin advances on to the main race. And there's a few guys that weren't able to join, like Jason stated. There's going to be a few new guys that are on the back of the pack. They've finished outside the top 4 of the LCQ last week, and maybe they'll make their way in here to the main event as a late addition. So it'll be interesting to see who all that is that gets on and who ends up making it. He stated before as well. There is a tire rule here for tonight. You get 1 extra set of tires at any point during the race. Expect most of them to wait probably right around a lap 180, 200, maybe even just a little bit later than that, if at all possible. So Ian, if you're one of those guys, I've seen you play the tire strategy before, if I'm mistaken, at New Hampshire. You're flying up through the field. What is your take on that? Like, I know ideally you want to wait as long as possible, but this track has been known to have long green flag runs. So what strategy would you be taking if you're out here tonight?
I mean, it depends on how the flow of the race is going. If there's a lot of cautions, you hope you're going to pit on the last caution if nobody's really taking tires yet. It's kind of a guessing game. You kind of go with the flow of the race. If we run 150 laps of green after the competition caution, obviously you're going to probably take tires in, but if we're having caution after caution, spread out every 20 laps, it'd be hard to say when these guys didn't take tires. Personally, in the past, I just try to stay with the leaders or the majority of the field, but we've seen where people in past SARA races with tires, they'll come down really early, they'll fly through the field and hope that's the last caution, and sometimes it works out and sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah, and it's worked for me before in the past as well when I would drive here in the series, and then it's obviously bit me. So that's going to be one of the key things to watch here tonight. Is the tire strategy and the tire rule. Even with competition caution, I mean, the guys can take tires during that, or they're not even really required to pit during that. So it does look like that the admins have advanced the session, and everyone's going to get gridded up here, and we can go through your driving order once everyone gets out here on the grid for tonight. Like I said, once again, thanks to Midwest Powersource for sponsoring this race. It should be a great race we're at Irwindale Speedway, which is just under a half-mile track in sunny California. Air temperature's 73 degrees, track is 78, overcast skies with 7-mile-an-hour wind southwest. Like the guys are gridding up here. Go ahead and start up with the front guy. Looks like Wilkinson, like I said, he was due to the A-car invert. We'll be starting on the pole. He's out of Pawtucket, Connecticut. Starting second is Bill Martin. Third is Trevor Edwards from Shepherdsville, Kentucky. Fourth is Drew Kryback. Fifth is Joe Schaefer Jr. out of Green Bay, Wisconsin. Sixth is Ty Majeski. From Seymour, not sure if it looks like we got 2 guys that are out. Ryan Matthews and Colin Ullman, which were a part of that A-car invert, were taken out. So everyone moves up 2 positions, as it was throwing me off a little bit from the lineup that we have according to what they actually lined up as. 7th is Andrew Wooden. 8th is Andre Fiorini. Excuse me, I always mess up his last name. 9th is David Kokorian. Round out your top 10 is Mike Carlson. 11th is Dallas Pitska. 12th, Michael Goodard. 13th, David Passmore. 14th, Zach Novak. 15th is our fearless leader, Matt Rolfe. 16th is your series points leader, Jimmy Mullis. 17th, Will Clark. 18th is Scott Austin. 19th is Matt Eddy. And 20th is Ken Morin. As we're coming down here into 1 and 2, there should be 1 to go here as we're coming to green. Again, like I said, or like we have all stated, we'll see what kind of chances these guys show here early on. As I'm expecting, probably everyone maybe getting single file pretty quickly up front here.
Yeah, we'll see. Brandon Wilkinson's going to bring us down to the green here. Bill Martin on his outside.
We are green, green, green. Great start by Brandon Wilkinson.
See, Brandon, he's trying to get up to the top. He's Bill clear now, but we'll see if he actually decides to go up there.
Yeah, and he makes his way. Yep, makes his way up there in front of Bill Martin. Bill Martin's usually always fast here, as I think Tom Majewski mentioned in our interview last week. He can pretty much anywhere he wants here as he's looking down low into Brandon Wilkinson into one. Single file through first, third.
Yeah, so far pretty calm at the front of the field. Some crazier stuff going on in the back. Everybody's just kind of defined their place in the field so far.
Yeah, it looks like everyone's given each other room, which is very good to see here early on. They know it's an extremely long race, which is, it's longer than your typical SARA race here. Our races are generally between 100 and 150 laps. Every now and then we'll throw in a 200 or 250 lap race. They're usually special events, but the 300 is few and far between. So it looks like we're single file here with about the top 8 or 9 guys.
Yeah, I think the first side-by-side's back here with Mike Carlson and looks like Michael Goddard. They battle for about the 10th spot back here.
Yeah, there's Matt Rolfe behind him. Passmore's in front of him. Yeah, these guys are side by side, and it's showing that early on that at least there's 2 grooves to race on. It'll be interesting to see if it widens out any with forecast guys.
Yeah, I'm sorry, that's actually David Passmore down there trying to get around 50 there. He's got the kind of preferred line right now. But, Irwindale, especially since they had the dynamic track update like a couple years ago, this place really widens out to about any lane. So
yeah, and that's what some of the drivers were discussing in this here before the race started, even before this session was set up. Discussing how the line was going to spread out. I was talking to Joe Schaefer Jr. earlier in the week, and he thinks that pretty much where these guys are running right now, which is kind of the middle groove, just a shade above it and a little bit below it, is going to be where everyone's going to be running tonight. You don't think it's going to widen out to the wall or even all the way down to the apron like it will in clear skies. So he generally knows what he's talking about. So we'll see if that ends up happening or not, and if it does, then it may catch some of those guys off guard.
yeah, but up front, Bill Martin just used the apron to take over the race lead, lap number 10.
Bill Martin's your new leader here on lap 10 of 300 in the Car Show Chevrolet, number 39. Probably going to try to set a little pace here, maybe pull away, but you don't want to use your stuff up early on. So he's probably just going maybe about 7/10 of what he can actually do. But those posse guys are pretty strong, no matter where they are, and you got a few of them here in the top 5 already.
Yeah, I think he'd been working over Brandon for a few laps, and I think Brandon almost really let him go when he dove on the apron there. Brandon's just trying to play it safe. It's still 288 laps to go, so a lot of time to get back around him.
Yep, just falling behind him. Now, with it being the cooler track temps and air temps, so, don't have to worry about temperatures as far as on your gauges or anything like that. So he can probably stay pretty close behind him and see what Bill's doing, where he's beating him. Maybe make some adjustments with his driving style to hang with him, or maybe even make an attempt to pass him again.
It looks like a little far back, Matt Rolfe. He's now the first driver on the inside. Back here, 13.
Yeah, yep, running 13 currently. The way they're running right now, they're running about 3/10 slower, or excuse me, about 2/10 slower than the leader, running side by side. There goes Matt all the way down to the apron. He's going to try to make it work because they're 3 wide. And he's going to make it work. So maybe there is something there with the apron right now. What we didn't see it come in the LCQ last week. If you were with us last week, the LCQ had about 15 drivers in it, which we knew would be about half the field of what it is here tonight. And the bottom never really came in, neither did the top. But if you had another 15 cars out there, you're running a lot more rubber and a lot more heat. So, maybe those things will come in.
Yeah, this group has definitely been slower battling side by side because the top 9 drivers, they've separated themselves from this little pack of cars that have been side by side since the drop of the green flag. Now it's Zach Novak on the inside of the 50 here. Jimmy Mullis got around him. Not really surprised to see that Jimmy and Zach Novak starting to push forward.
Yeah, those are your guys that are 1 and 2 in the points. So obviously Novak's going to want to keep Mullis right out in front of him, if not behind him. Like I said, this race does count towards the championship, where other things like SARA's Fall Brawl does not. It's a one-off event. This one's just a big event in the middle of the season. See Ben Nowell and Donald Clark running side by side currently. And if you're in the back of this pack here, there's a bunch of cars. You can throw a blanket over them, and you have a bunch of experienced drivers. You see Ty Majeski's, or not, excuse me, Ty Spearman is back there, running with them. He's got more experience than probably, some of these guys do combined. And right now, they're about a half track from behind the leaders. So before they know it, if they keep messing around, the leader could be on the tail.
Yeah, Ty is, I'm surprised to see he's this far back, but I believe you said you did have to take a provisional, so not a surprise if he would move forward here later tonight, I'm sure. I don't know if Ty's a big fan of Irwindale, but he always seems to find his way to the front. He's always around in the longer races, it seems like.
Yeah, Spearman, I call him the wild veteran.
No,
he's right in front of him. That was a 0-5. 0-5 of Scott Austin. Maybe got a little help there going into 3. Got into the wall a little bit. He's got some damage on the right front, a little bit on the left front as well. It looks like all corners are beat up. That's a tough break for him. So he's going to be looking to hang on here, maybe get an early caution so he can go down and get some of that fixed. Couldn't tell who he got help from.
Looks like it was the 11 of Travis Wright who got into him there. Looks like he just took the corner just a little too hard there. Maybe Scott was just trying to take it easy, but didn't bring out a caution or anything. But yeah, Scott, he's got quite a bit of damage, and he's fallen back to 27th last car in the lead lap right now.
Yeah, he's okay for now, but he can't. He's going to need a couple things go his way now to work his way back up to the front. And while they're working their way, speaking of working their way back up to the front, currently Tom Majeski's 3 after starting. Well, technically he got started, put back to 8th place, and there was a couple guys that missed, so he started 6th. Up to 3rd currently, and he's working over Brandon Wilkinson. And we spoke with him last week, and he was fairly confident about his setup. And I don't know if he took his girlfriend off of the Do Not Disturb list on his cell phone or not, if everyone follows him on Twitter. Puts her on the Do Not Disturb list, which is an interesting tactic. Don't know if he took her off or not, but whatever he did, right now he's working his way to the front with Trevor Edwards behind him and Joe Schaefer Jr. rounding out your top 5.
Yeah, it's not. I don't think anybody should be surprised if Ty's in the lead here after too long, but it's gonna be hard to get around these guys. I mean, Brandon and Bill up in front of him have been running really good pace so far, but Ty is no stranger to success as he goes for 2nd right here.
We're gonna go on board with Ty Majeski here as he just got around Wilkinson for 2nd place, and as you can tell, he's gonna probably follow his teammate. He can follow the line here as he's going down into 3. And that's about where everyone's going to be running currently. He's able to pick up the throttle pretty good, get the power down. Probably on the chip a little bit there as he gets into 1. Wilkinson isn't too far behind him as Ty tries a little bit different entry into 3. Gained a little bit on Bill, it looks like. That's a couple of laps around Irwindale Speedway with the guy who's making up the ground. And don't look too far ahead currently, but Bill Martin's catching Scott Austin. Won't be too much longer before he runs him down. We'll see how the traffic ends up playing out here for Bill.
Yeah, traffic can be tricky here. I remember when we were running the Clash for Caches here, the traffic was insane because we were in all different classes of cars, but typically with how much grip there seems to be at Irwindale, as Ty Majeski's all over the back bumper of Bill Martin now. Looks like Bill might be letting him go right here, giving him the preferred groove.
Filling up his mirror, and looks like Ty's definitely beating him from center off.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see how these guys navigate around lap traffic, since it seems like some guys can get their cars down the apron already. Some guys just want to be right by the wall.
Well, that's where Majeski's at, is up by the wall. And as we discussed earlier, we didn't know if it was going to come in or not. And he made the pass up on Bill. Being their teammates, kind of hard to say if Bill let him go or not. Knowing Bill, he probably didn't give it to him too easy, as he's probably one of the more competitive guys in this series on and off the racetrack. And Ty's still staying up there. So if he ends up making some hay and pulling away from Bill here as he's doing, you may see more cars move up there, because it doesn't take long from word to get around that, the top side's quick. As David Kokorian, I see it in the background, David Kokorian's already moved up himself. He's in 6th place right now. Joe Schaefer's moved up a little bit. Anybody can run the top line around here. As I say that, he scrapes the wall, but it's David Kokorian. He can run the top here better than anyone else.
Yeah, and Ty Majeski's putting Scott Austin in lap down right here, so he's trying to, but looks like Scott's gonna give him the preferred groove around the top. So it's a tough break for Scott, who got involved in that little spin without a caution. He's going to go lap down, but at least for a few laps, if a caution does come out, he'd be the lucky dog right now. So he's got that going for him currently.
Correct. But here we are in lap 38 of 300, and it's got a green flag fill to it. Some of the field is already spread out. And, it's like you said, it was a tough break for him. Going to need a lot of help, to get back on the lead lap. As Russell Berry is going to be the next one that's in threat of going a lap down. We're looking at Joe Schaefer Jr. here. He's your 3-time and defending SARA Super Late Model Series champion. And I believe DK's pulled him in here a little bit. And the 66 car is right behind him, the Exalt Chevrolet. It may look like he's wall riding, but I can tell you right now, besides maybe that little part, he's not. He gets, like I said, he gets closer than anyone else, and he's pulled in Joe Schaefer and Edwards and Wilkinson. So let's see if he can make a little battle out of this as they're battling for third.
Yeah, Kokorian's really hooking that top really well, but I've seen him do that so many times the caution comes out.
Got a caution. That's what Austin needed. Looks like Matt Eddy got into it with someone there on the back, maybe Alan Pajari. Go ahead and do the SARA TV instant replay. Looks like we had all. Looks like Metaros just turned Matt Eddy, and then Pajari was just, in circumstances of trying to slow down and miss the wreck. Looks like Matt Eddy got a little help.
Yeah, looked pretty similar to when Scott Austin got turned around in traffic. I believe Scott should get the lucky dog. It does look like Matt Eddy and Alan Pajari got lapped based on that incident, but Scott should get the free pass here.
Yeah, and there goes Scott now. He's passing them to take the lucky dog. So it was a good break for him. Fortunate break for Matt Eddy and Pajari. Maybe that they can potentially another caution could come out quickly, and they can get one of them can get their lap back. Now we're about halfway to the competition caution, which is at lap 100. And like I stated earlier, you do not have to come down pit road, for the competition caution. Also, if you choose, you can, like I say, you can stay out and risking running out of fuel, as there can be a long green flag run, as 45 laps is decent, but as this race goes, it's probably going to get longer. The estimated fuel window, if we stayed green the whole time, is about 185 to 200 laps. So, you will have to pit for fuel one way or the other. So while we're under this little caution break here, now's a good time to go ahead and do some spear plugs. These are the guys that hopped on board here with Sim-Auto Racing Association, and without them, we couldn't do any of this. So, Tundra Super Late Models, who sponsored this series, Loco Toco Designs, who sponsors races, and, it's presented by, the series is presented by them. Midwest Powersource Inc., sponsoring the race here tonight. Hides, Prides, Leather, and Sheepskin's been with SARA here for a couple years now. Callaway Investments, who sponsors the Street Stocks. Epic Media, our insurance options. 40 Wraps Inc., Down East Chassis Works, Old School, Dr. Noise, who's Bill Martin, who's currently running P2 tonight, Area 52 Designs, Midwest Race Updates, who sponsored the qualifying night and the last chance qualifier last week, and Dynamic Auto Sports, who is also sponsoring the Hard Charger Award tonight. Like, thank you to those guys for everything that they do for this series, because without them, this could be happening.
Yeah, under this caution, we had a couple takers to pit road, most of them fixing damage. I mean, Matt Eddy, looks like Scott Austin visited the pit lane. Along with Jason Miller, I don't think Jason Miller had any damage. Maybe he was putting some fuel in the car, maybe to play some strategy at lap 100 possibly, but surprised I didn't see more guys at the back come down and maybe add a little bit of fuel and try to play a little strategy maybe at lap 100. But
and stay out. That's a good call. We'll have to keep an eye on Jason there and see what he ends up doing at lap 100. As we're coming back to the green flag, he starts on Tom Majeski, and we're back to green, and gets to a great restart. Bill Martin will fall in behind him at 2, and we'll see how hard Wilkinson and Edwards battle it out for 3rd.
Yeah, so far side by side between Wilkinson and Edwards.
Yeah, Edwards gets a little loose.
It's a little loose, yeah.
Yeah. He's trying to dig there on the outside. Hopefully the track didn't go way too much there on that caution. It should be okay as long as we another little decent green flag run here.
Yeah, a little slip lets Brandon Wilkinson pull up and keep 3rd position for now. Now Schaefer and Kokorian back there battling for 5th.
Yeah, Kokorian's going to be riding that top side here. He's going to be rim riding. I think that's impressive. You should come out with this on Monday nights as we race the midgets and 410 non-wing cars. And DK can make it rim ride around there on the cushion with the best of them. And it's exciting to watch in there as well. As he gets by Joe Schaefer Jr. there for 5th place. So David Kokorian working his way up to the front here as well.
Yeah, I don't think David was upset to start on the top line that restart one bit. Definitely probably the line he preferred to restart on all night. Unless, of course, he's leading the race, which he's going to have to start on the bottom. But he's already in position where he wants to be. He's going to try to get around the outside of Trevor Edwards. Trevor kind of running the more typical high line at Irwindale, I guess, around the white dash lines around the track.
Well, you have there's a great example, probably all in the same screenshot of the lines. You have Trevor, who's running your more typical one, as DK gets a great run in 1 and 2 to get on the outside of him here going down the backstretch into 3. You have DK up there in the way high side, and you got Matt Rolfs just behind them, who's running that extreme low line in 3 and 4. He'll stay your typical line in 1 and 2, maybe a little bit lower. And if you get on him here, he may shoot it down there. Yep, there he goes to the bottom. Try to get it down to that yellow line, and we'll try to clear Drew Krabak here as they're having a good little battle for 7th place.
Yeah, Matt's making it work, obviously. He's the biggest mover off the grid so far. He's from 15th to 8th, trying to get 7th here, so...
Yeah, he was
8 spots already if he gets Drew here.
Not too sure what setup he went with. I know we had an Irwindale set. He used our Rotor Lanier sets from a couple of seasons ago. I don't know what he went with, to be honest, as we were setting up the broadcast. So after the race, I'll be interested personally to hear what he ended up going with. But one way or the other, it's working for him currently. As you said, he's the hardest charger so far in the race.
Yeah, we're starting to get a little more spread out. Back in the pack, it looks pretty calm still with the 1 of Zach Novak, the 86 of David Passmore side by side for 14th.
Yeah, and this is your best battle on the track currently. As you stated, Ian, everyone's kind of spread out. The foul, Passmore and Novak are going at it. And I think this is where everyone's going to be trying to maybe pick single cars off at a time and maybe not necessarily ride around, but not use up their stuff too much either, because we have, a ton of laps left here as we're on working lap 61 of 300.
Passmore was able to get up in line now. Ben Niles on his inside, trying to get a top 15 spot away. Ben's up 6 spots as well from the starting grid. He started 21st.
Yeah, Ben, he's one of the guys in the Down East Chassis Works. He's sponsored before. He's got that on the hood of a 72 Chevrolet Super Late model. And he was in the last chance qualifier last week. He did well. I think he ended up coming home 4th, if I'm not mistaken, to put himself in the show. So, yeah, he's making his way up from the back of the field. Mid-pack now running P15. So, you know, good for him.
Right in front of him, Zach Novak's on the inside of Michael Goddard for 13th. Zach actually hasn't moved up any spots in the first 63 laps. Kind of surprising.
Yeah, and he may be just saving the stuff. You know, that's, you only get one extra set of tires, and if they're going to be taking them with, you know, 100 laps or fewer to go, you know, you don't want to use it up right now. You can maybe make your way up through the field later on, your first set of tires after everyone else uses them up.
Yeah, this first 100 laps before the, you know, you have that competition caution coming in 35 laps. Could just be a point of the race to feel the car out, see how it's handling. Don't want to take yourself out in this early part.
You got Ty Spearman here tonight. He's running his KJM tribute paint. It's Kevin J. Myers. Tribute paint in the 92 car. Usually Ty's got a pretty colorful white and purple, or even a sprint car looks like the old time lemonade pink and yellow car whenever he decides to pull that thing out. He's running 17th here, running with Passmore, and already had a little hard go of. He's got some tail end damage on this posse machine, but you can never count this guy out. As he takes it down low, trying to inside line there, and he's going to get held up a little bit. Donald Clark's going to make a run at him coming into one.
As Tyree mentioned earlier, I think he was back in about 20th last time or so we looked at him, but he's moving forward a little bit more now. An 18th. Again, he had to start at the back, just taking his time, doesn't do anything too crazy.
Yeah, and he's a pretty methodical guy, you know, as far as when he's racing.
72's spinning around here in the bottom groove in turn 3 and 4, but he saves it. And there's somebody spinning in front of him, though.
Got a big wreck. It looks like it's Drew Kraback. It's a tough break for Drew, because if I'm not mistaken, he was up there battling in the top 10. Go back on the SARA TV instant replay and see what happened to Drew here. Like he was battling with Fiorini. Jimmy Mullis is right behind him. Oh, and they just met in the middle. Unfortunately, it spun out Drew. And man, Kraback almost got rear-ended there by Goodard. Good job in missing him. Basically everybody that missed him. And it's a tough break for Drew. And SARA does have the gentleman's rule, as this is a regular season race, and it really doesn't matter when the race is or what type of race it is. And the gentleman's rule is basically if you claim the caution, let the admins know. They'll give you an EOL, put you at the end of the longest line, and if you do not claim your caution and the admins go back to review the race of all the cautions, as they do for every race, and deem that you were the cause of the caution without claiming it, you will get an EOL in the results. So obviously it's best to go ahead and claim your caution now, even if you don't think it was you, or you might be kind of teetering on it if it was you or not, especially in this 300 lap race. Probably best to just go ahead, take that EOL. So we'll see if that happens there with Andre, if he takes that there or not. Obviously, Drew got the short end of the stick and lost some positions, as he's showing P15, 14 currently now. Bill. Yeah, so we're on lap 73 of 300. Give you a quick recap, and of the of this, we've had 2 cautions so far here tonight, and currently Ty Majeski is your leader, as he took over from Bill Martin early on. So Bill Martin's in second. Third is David Kikorian. Fourth is Brandon Wilkinson, who started on the pole after the 8-car invert. And fifth is Joe Schaefer Jr.
Yeah, we're coming up to a competition caution here in another 25 laps. Under this stop, looks like Trevor Edwards gave up a top 5 position to come down and get probably some fuel here early. So
either
we'll
that or tighten the car up. He was loose there a couple times.
He's about the only one that came down to pit road that have some sort of damage, it looks like. Alan Pajari, he was in that first incident tonight, first caution tonight. He got the free pass under this yellow. That's going to leave Matt Eddy still a lap down, but he's got another caution coming in 25 laps, so as long as he's the first car lap down there, he's still got that coming, hopefully to get him back on the lead lap.
Yeah, there's still plenty of time. I mean, cautions be cautions. I think we've all heard that before. So, you know, even if you're a couple laps down, you still have plenty of time to get those back and get up there. As we're coming to take the green here, the restart once again will be on Ty Majeski. We'll see what kind of restart that David Krikorian gets here in third, as Bill Martin and Ty Majeski are on the same team on the posse. I'm sure they're on TeamSpeak, letting each other know when they're about to go. And David Krikorian gets off to a great start. It looks like he may try to fill that second position over Bill Martin, as Matt Rolfe is doing something that's unusual for him back here in sixth place, as he's going to the high side, as we have a great battle here for second place.
Yeah, Krikorian kind of in a different line than we've seen him down on the bottom this time. He's normally rim riding, as we've seen almost all night. He does get up to the top, but Brandon Wilkinson immediately takes that car to the outside wall.
Yeah, that was tight right there. He squeezed that thing in. Wilkinson probably gave him a little bit of break since it is still early in this race. And you know, if you're Wilkinson, you're probably going to... David Krikorian remembers that later on in the race, as Rolfe is now working over Wilkinson for the fifth spot.
Yeah, Matt not using the extreme inside, but he is down on the inside of the 20.
Yeah, as he goes down there low right now, and if we get another about 10 laps or so more green, knowing him, he'll be using that real low line. It looks like the car's turning really well for him in the center. He's getting decent drive off. I know what gear he's using in this, so he's probably still getting into the chip just a little bit, which is good and which is needed if you're going to be running that low line, as he pulls about a car length over Wilkinson there for fifth as he head down into one. Wilkinson fights back on the outside. It's not going to be enough as Rolfe clears him going into, and Jimmy Mullis is now going to give Wilkinson only once there for sixth place.
It looks like Mullis is going to slide into the top now. Looks like Brandon's going to down a little bit though. See if Mullis can keep that outside going. He can't off of turn 2 that time. He's going to try a little crossover down to the bottom now.
Great battle here for sixth spot. Also, your points leader. So he's obviously trying to get as many points as he can, as Zach Novak's about 4 cars behind him. But if you are Jimmy Mullis, obviously you're not going to push too much, because you don't want anything bad to happen to you here, as you are the points leader and you have a small cushion, especially when Joe Schaefer Jr., who's running third in points, as you're defending and 3-time series champion, is up there running in fourth. So right now it looks like everyone's got it figured out, and they're just going to maybe turn some laps here.
Okay. Coming up on the competition caution here, about 16 laps too.
Ty Majeski's pulled out to almost a second lead here over Bill Martin for second place, as right now he's on cruise control. David Krikorian's working over Bill Martin for second. Joe Schaefer Jr. is right there behind him, and Matt Rolfe has finally made his way into the top 5. And right now there's just a great battle here for second place. As David Krikorian's giving Bill Martin everything that he wants, and then some. And we'll see exactly how hard of a fight Bill Martin puts up as DK gets to his rear bumper.
Yeah, David's really in that top still. No surprise.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, to be honest with you, from what I've heard from the drivers here prior to the race, you know, that the top side wouldn't be there. And so I'm a little bit surprised that it's working as well as it is with these overcast skies. But, you know, he's making it work. No telling how much time, as we have another caution here. Pace car comes off pit road like a bat out of hell.
I think it was the one of Zach Novak, some other drivers involved after turn number 4.
Yeah, big. There's a big mess there coming into turn 1 there. We'll go ahead and take a look at this on the SARA TV instant replay. It all went down. Zach Novak. Spearman gets into the rear of him there in turn 3, and there's just a big pile up. Novak gets going, gets a little goose there from the 54 car of Dallas Pataska. Now I'll spin out there into 1, which is left over from him getting tagged there coming out of 4. So now Spearman gets in the back of Novak, and that's trouble for our P2 and the series points leader and Zach Novak. Tough break, but still, once again, we're working lap 9,300. Still a long race left. I'm sure he can salvage a decent finish out of this.
I mean, it looks like to me the number 1's engine there not looking too good. He's got a lot of smoke coming out of the back there. I think he's going to have...
Oh, is he going to be
parking
parking
it? For the night, I believe.
He is done for the night. That's an unfortunate break there for Zach Novak. We do have drop weeks in SARA, which basically have 2 drop weeks. So you get to drop your 2 worst finishes for the point total. And unfortunately, this looks like this might be one of them here for Zach Novak in the 1 car who's 2 in the series points. He's out of Clinton, Connecticut, and Kirkwood Transportation, Loco Toco's Designs, Chevrolet. So we'll you see a bunch of guys here on pit road currently. Might be your competition caution. We might be having some few technical difficulties. You know, if you're seeing it there on your side during the broadcast, maybe we have a little connection issue. We apologize for that. It's not your computer, it'll be ours. So just stick with us here. We're ironing them out. We get everything squared away here for these next couple hundred laps.
Yeah, a lot of the drivers coming to pit here, I don't believe they said this was a competition caution. We haven't heard anything about that happening early.
Yeah,
but it looks like Trevor Edwards, who pitted on the last yellow, did choose to stay out here. So he's going to assume the race lead, it looks like.
Yeah, he's going to be your leader. This is not the competition caution, even though we said it was on lap 100. It is not the competition caution. Just got word here from the lead admin. And Trevor Edwards will be starting at P1 here on the restart. And Alan Pajari, second. He went down there early to get some fuel and stuff after that early spin, and now he's in place. So, you know, that's how your fortunes can turn here pretty quick. So he's probably looking to stay up there, potentially get some track position, stay up here within the top 10 when it comes time to come back down and take those tires.
Yeah, this is kind of be like a run to the end of the stage in a NASCAR race. We only have a couple laps for another scheduled caution, so see if Trevor and Alan can keep their track position for 5 laps. Still quite a lot of time. Different guys at the front of the field here.
Yeah, well, we'll see what they end up doing as Trevor Edwards is going back to green. Well, you're green. Pajari gets off to a good start as well. Ken Morin with a strong move on that restart to the outside line of Tom Majeski. Majeski's looking on Pajari going here into turn 3. Going to try to make short work of that. And Morin is all over the rear end of Pajari.
Yeah, if you're Alan Pajari here, you just want to hold this top line for 3 more laps, keep as many spots as you can. You can take the lower line to try to pass you.
There goes Bill Martin way down low. Looks like he was sliding. It was a 4-wheel drift down there on the apron. If you're going to do it, like you said, go ahead and do it now. Majeski got up, passed into second place as everyone's scrambling to try to get these final few positions before our competition caution.
Yeah, Bill's trying to do anything he can, but it looks like he's actually going to drop back a little bit. Didn't get off the apron there very well. Now Jimmy Mollis is on his outside. Pajari's still holding third from Ken Morin. Jimmy Mollis moves up to 5th.
There's just a huge, there's our competition caution here for here tonight, which is probably good because it was getting pretty hairy there back from like 5th, 6th, and 7th place.
Yeah, I mean, everybody had it known it's going to be a really short run. They're going to try to get as much as they can. Thankfully, didn't have any accidents there, as we did see a lot of aggressive moves there, but everybody's just trying to get as much as they can right away. No, there's another restart coming.
Right. Yeah, you're just trying to do everything you can there on those restarts to get as much track position as you can. there could be some guys that come down for this, as we've seen that prior caution. A bunch of guys came down before. And then the one before that, there were some guys that came down. So it looks like Pajari's going to come in here, give up his track position, maybe get some fuel, maybe some tires.
And the 88 Matt Eddy gets his lap back after being involved in that first caution. There's going to be 23 cars on the lead lap once we get this competition yellow.
So if you're Trevor Edwards, so far so good, as his strategy there played out to get him out front, which is exactly what he wanted in his Dex Imaging Toyota. Trevor Edwards, he's out of Shepherdsville, Kentucky, which is literally like just a, I don't know, 10-minute drive for me, right down the road. Racing with Dynamic Autosports and Road Speed Dynamics. He's raced with us for quite a while now, and he's always a front runner, always a hard charger. I enjoy racing with him when I was racing in the super late models. So we'll be seeing to see if Tom Majeski can work around him as easily as his teammate Bill Martin.
If I'm not mistaken, I think Trevor got his first SARA win at Irwindale in the SK or Tour mod, and I think it came in the race. A lot of people were like, "Who is this guy?" And he won the whole thing. And now look where he is on a pretty stout team. He's been on a couple of them. But
yeah, he was with Aussie prior to the team that he's currently on now with Dynamic Autosport, as we got one to go here. And like I said, moved over with Dynamic Autosports with Pajari's on his team, and Mullis, and a couple other guys. So they're definitely quick. We're coming back to green. Restart is on Trevor Edwards. It's lap 105 of 300 after the competition caution, and we are green, green, green.
He gets a nice jump right up to the top lane. He goes.
Simon Jeske throws it down into 1 and 2. Made it stick.
Jeske is able to get back in the second round. Ken Moran there.
Bill Martin and Wallace are battling for 4th, and Joe Schaefer Jr.'s running in 5th, watching all of this as his one of his competitors in the points with Zach Novak is already out of the race. Joe Schaefer Jr., you got to be somewhat happy to see that. But what you aren't happy about is seeing Jimmy Mullis is in front of you. So, as being the points leader. So he's going to want to try to keep him close as possible, as Majeski is battling Trevor Edwards here for the lead, and how long that Trevor can stay out front here for this race. And if you're Majeski, you're probably going to take your time, knowing that you may be a little bit faster, or maybe you're just kind of seeing what Edwards has, and then you're finally going to work him over.
It does look like Bill Martin was able to get in front of Jimmy Mullis there. Held the bottom since the restart, able to hold on to 4th. So Majeski's looking to the inside now for the race lead again.
Yeah, Majeski's wasting no time. He didn't care about what Edwards had. Didn't care to size him up as he's going down low. Going to try a little somewhat slide job to move up in front of him. Not enough room as he go down into 1 and 2 side by side. Great battle here for the lead. As the guys behind him reel him in a little bit. It's tight out of 2. Going back down into 3 and 4. This is the type race that we want to see. It's early on still, but it's going to give you an idea what it's going to look like late in the race. And these could be the guys running for the win when it comes to lap 300.
Majeski really using the apron both 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Trying to get anything he can off these corners here. Get up alongside Edwards. He actually pulls back in line behind him.
Yeah, and as I stated earlier, it's, your car, the normal line around Irwindale, it's right in the middle, maybe just kind of where Trevor Edwards is right now. We know David Kikorian likes running the top line. Now, it's easier for your car to run the top line than it is the bottom. You have to have your car set up for either one, but as Majeski showed, it's extremely hard to pass in the bottom here. You have to have your car set up for it, and you have to have the proper gear as well. So if you have a little bit too tall of a gear, that bottom line is not going to work. So he may be looking to try to pass Edwards up high, but Edwards is going to run that line and force him to pass him down low. As Majeski gets a great run on him coming out of 4. Oh, Majeski's going to look high. coming out of 2. They are side by side once again.
Yeah, he kind of snuck up on the outside of him that time. See if Trevor's got anything on the bottom here. Keep this race lead away from Ty Majeski.
Trevor's showing some grit. He's had some ARCA starts in his career before. He actually raced at Salem, Indiana once before and finished 5th or 6th there about 3 or 4 years ago, if I'm not mistaken. So he has some real life experience as well. He's showing some real grit as Majeski finally completes the pass, going down into 1 and 2. Edwards is going to fall into 2nd with Morin 3rd, and then Bill Martin 4th and Mollison 5th.
Yeah, it looks like Morin was trying to get to the outside of Trevor Edwards. Trevor is able to hold on to that spot for now. Interesting to see that Majeski, once he took over the race lead, really not keen to taking that top line. He was down below the dotted white lines around the top in both ends of the racetrack, so...
Yeah, it looks like he does need the whole track for the current line that he's running, the whole track to make it work and to pull away. When Edwards was making him run up top, it took a little work for him to get around him, but once he did, he was able to run his line and put a little bit of distance as he's up to a half-second lead over Edwards right now. Edwards and Ken Morin Jr. are battling here for 2nd.
Yeah, 81 now charging that bottom line. Kind of mirroring the line that Majeski was running there in the corners, but going to slip back in line for just a brief moment, but trying to see if he can mirror the line that Majeski's running to get around Edwards. Bill Martin on the back bumper of him, though. Jimmy Moll's not too far back. Joe Schaefer not too far back of this group either.
Yeah, you can throw a blanket over 2nd through 8th right now. They're all running about the similar lines. And you probably go down in 1 and 2 and watch Schaefer Jr., now Mullis, and DK running the top line there. But pretty soon they're going to end up putting a lot of rubber up there as well, and they may go back down. But the one car that I will be looking for to make up some ground here if they keep this up is going to be Matt Rolfe, as he's been the one to show that he can run the bottom a lot better than most of these guys up front.
You're looking at Matt. It looks like he's run the top kind of right now, but there he goes down to the bottom, so no surprise. Bill Martin doing the same thing. He's down the apron in 3 and 4 now.
Yeah, Martin gets a little bit... Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I think Matt was just running the top there to make up the gap, and then once he catches up to everybody, he's going to down, which is not surprising for what he likes to do at Irwindale. I've seen him do it in the past and win, so...
Yeah, he'll run up top generally in 1 and 2, and then down low in 3 and 4. And if we could do side-by-side comparisons, which we can't necessarily, as Bill Martin is extremely loose on, he got a little help as he's spinning out down the inside. I don't know if it's going to bring out a caution or not. As he's down below, he gets it back going, pointed in the right direction. As we stay green, looks like he got a little bit of loose out of 2, and trying to correct it, and maybe got a little help from Joe Schaefer Jr. And, with no intention in that, just came across his nose, and Joe kind of finished him off. That's a tough break there for Bill Martin.
Yeah, what that did is, we were just talking about, open the door for Matt Rolfe. He gained a couple spots there in that little stack up using the bottom. Got around Brandon Wilkinson, it looks like.
Yeah, he's got Wilkinson there, and then he's going to work on DK, and this is probably going to show you more than anything else on which line is faster, exactly how they compare in time, as DK's at the very top, 1 and 2, in 3 and 4, and Matt's running your cool Irwindale line in 1 and 2, and we'll probably shoot down to the bottom here. Not as far back as down as he probably goes, but all the way down to the white line in 3 and 4. Like DK maybe pulled him a little bit.
Yeah, the 81 of Ken Morin up here trying to get around Trevor Edwards. He's going down towards the white line now.
Yeah, there's definitely grip to be had down there. It's just, like I said, I can't preach it enough. If your car's not set up for it, it can get snappy loose, or it can just all of a sudden get tight on you coming off the bottom. Especially if you don't have enough gear in it, it won't do you any favors in helping turn the car. As now Jimmy Mullis is looking to make it a 3-car dance here for 2nd place.
Yeah, while this is going on, Ty Majeski's almost put a 2.5-second lead on 2nd place. Trevor Edwards is now Jimmy Mullis trying to get away with be 3rd from Ken there.
Wallace works his way up to third, and if you can, you're probably going to be looking to try to get back up to the top potentially. As you can see, this groove widening out, especially in 1 and 2. And it won't take too long for it to happen there in 3 and 4. Knees up just a little bit. You see Matt Rolfe dive way down low, and that's exactly what I would be doing. Down to that yellow line into 3 and 4. And like you stated, Majeski's just out here, and he's got the cruise control set, listening to his favorite jam, and just pulling away from these guys.
And Kevin looked like he tried to get up between Jimmy Moles and Joe Schaefer. There's just not a hole there. There's Matt Rolfe. He's just taking up all sorts of time as these guys race side by side in front of him. He was alongside Corian there for just a brief moment last lap.
Yep, and that's, you know, when you got these guys up top, you know, you kind of get stacked up. You can only go so fast sometimes. Obviously you can't go anywhere if there's someone in front of you. So Matt's just, you know, going where they're not, and it's working for him here, Mike.
We'll see how the 81 will be in kind of in the, I guess that's not the bottom, more the middle of the racetrack. It changes his line at all, but I don't think it should have any effect. We may have some 3 wide here, possibly.
Yeah, give it another couple laps or so, and we have another caution. Just if your time in Juskies is not what you wanted to see, maybe Ty Spear. Hard to say.
The 11 and the, yeah, I think the 11 and the 9-2, 11 and Travis Wright.
Go back here on the instant replay of Ty Spearman, see if, oh, maybe the 54 there. Happened a little bit further back in the pack. No, it was with Ty Spearman, and like you said, the 11 of Travis Wright. Spearman got into Travis there and turned him around. Spearman disconnected, or he ended up dropping out. It's hard to say what happened there with him, but he definitely got into the 11, it appeared, and turned him around for our 5th caution of the night. We've had 7 lead changes, and lap 139 of 300, so not even halfway, but close. And Tom Majeski's almost 3-second lead, struck him down next to nothing now.
Yeah, I'd say right here is a little, probably too early to get tires, but we do have a couple drivers on pit road. It doesn't look like either of them are getting tire service done. The 54 of Dallas and the 86 of Passmore, who actually is laps down, so just Dallas on pit road there. Didn't look like he was getting any tires, maybe just fueling the car up just in case we happen to run green from here. Looks like he has some damage as well.
Yeah, that or some chassis adjustments, so you don't have to worry about it when he goes down to get the tires. Obviously, you want to do as much as you can with the car without taking tires, because that takes up the most time. And that might be what he was doing down there. Well, we are getting close to where maybe guys would take tires. You know, we're working lap 140, and the closer we get to lap 200, you know, it's maybe start seeing guys dive down pit road to get their tires, taking a gamble on a long green flag run.
I think somebody that just took a gamble was the 88 of Matt Eddy, I believe. Saw both sides of that car go up on his pit stop here. He did get 4 tires. It looks like he was in his box for about 20 seconds, so looks like a 4-tire stop for Matt.
We'll have to keep an eye on him, see what kind of ground he can make up there, because currently he's running P22, and so he's going to have fresher tires than anyone. So, you know, if we start seeing him climbing up board, we're going to have to go back there and take a peek at him and see what kind of speed he has compared to the other guys on older tires, as we're coming to 1 to go.
Yeah, before the caution out front, Ty Majeski was running about 17.9 second lap times. The overall best lap time in the race at a 17 flat. So there's been quite a bit of fall off. So those new tires can definitely pay off. As Majeski's going to bring us back to green.
He
just
comes
a little
down
short of halfway.
We're halfway, coming down to 3 and 4. The restart is on him. We're green, green, green. Trevor Edwards gets a great restart here on the outside. Maybe only me, it's hard to say, but it looks like Edwards' connection isn't as great as it probably should be, as he's bouncing around a little bit on my screen.
Yeah, I do see the same. It looks like it's stabilized, but I think Joe Schaefer kind of cut him a break there. Maybe Trevor wasn't aware he was blinking there on that restart. It looks like Joe had a chance to go around him, but it cut him a break as Majeski takes off already, it looks like, on this restart.
Yeah, well, if Edwards is bouncing around, he's catching everyone off guard. Everyone's be careful just in case he does come back to a good connection, in which he has here now, it appears. And Joe probably did give him a break, as he didn't want to spin him out or maybe even ruin Joe's night of himself. So kudos to Joe if that's what happened. It appeared that's what happened, and Edwards seems to be good to go now as he's in second. And right now, Joe Schaefer Jr. is getting everything that he wants from David Krikorian as they're battling for third.
Yeah, they're running very similar lines there. David's a little farther up the track, but Joe's going to definitely try to make David pass him on the inside if he's going to go for that third spot, it looks like.
And I don't know if I've seen DK pass anyone on the inside tonight yet or not. You know, if he hasn't, and, you know, guys do pay attention to that. You know, some of these guys will have spotters, real life spotters. And like I said, everyone's usually on some type of like TeamSpeak or Discord or, you know, something like that where they can talk to each other. And if he hasn't done anything where he's passed anyone on the inside, as Schaefer Jr. gets in the wall a little bit, you know, they're just going to make him pass him on the inside, see if he can do it. And if he can't, then, you know, he's just tough luck. He's going to have to ride where he's riding.
Yeah, David definitely liking that top. I mean, one of the earlier restarts, he kind of forced his way up to the top line, right up to the wall from the inside line. So definitely where he prefers to be. But if it comes down to it, I'm sure we'll have to see that 66 on the bottom at some point tonight.
Yeah, I mean, you know, he's getting up here to the super fast guys, consistent guys, you know, guys that can run their line lap after lap. So he's not going to be able to snooker them any, as there's 3 wide coming off of turn 4 behind them: Jimmy Mullis, Ken Morin, and Matt Rolfe. We're going to go on board with Matt Rolfe here to see what he's doing here in turn 3 and 4, give you a little sneak peek. And as we do that, he obviously doesn't do that for once, so that's about right. But we'll stay on board here with him, see what he does. And we go down into 1 and 2. You see him running just a little bit lower. And this one, he's going to try to get a drive off. Losing a little bit of ground.
Yeah, it seems like it takes about 10 or 15 laps for that real extreme bottom to come in. But we got some side-by-side up here for second place. Looks like Trevor's connection issues might have come back, and Joe Schaefer's trying to get around him on the inside. Schaefer's not using quite the extreme bottom line. Kind of a battle to be on the top, but see if Schaefer can clear him here.
He's going to try. Joe Schaefer, I don't think you force it too much as we go away from Matt's onboard. He obviously goes all the way down to the extreme inside line, so that's just how it works. You can't plan that out if you wanted to. If Schaefer does clear Edwards, as DK's trying to work on the oh, and David Krikorian's in the wall. Big time. Looks like he climbed the wall a little bit. He's got some damage.
Yeah, I'm afraid that was some
big
net
damage
code there for sure.
Was there net code, you think?
I think so. I think Trevor was blinking right before that happened, and there should have been room for David to go around him, and that looked like some major net code there, unfortunately. And David's going to take the bad end of that.
Yeah, that could have been a huge wreck. So, I mean, good for David Krikorian for, you know, keeping it going in the right direction. Did get crossed up. Tough break for David Krikorian as he is battling there for third place with Trevor Edwards, and a bad connection or what have you there. He'd be able to tell us a little bit more. I'm sure I'll hear from him after the race, you know, of exactly what happened. But knowing DK, he probably typed something out there in the driver chat, and probably every letter on the keyboard in some random order. Typically what he likes to type up here when he gets frustrated about something. But Matt Rolfe here, looking at him, Jimmy Mullis, they're caught up to Trevor Edwards. And Joe Schaefer Jr. is not your leader. He's currently second, as Ty Majeski has just pretty much set sail, as he's 3.2 seconds in front of Joe Schaefer Jr. So if you can't see him in screen, which you cannot, it's because he's way out front. And this is the best battle on the track right now, is this battling for second, third, and fourth.
Jimmy Mullis trying to get around, use the bottom there. See Matt Rolfe, he's using the apron now. Seeing these guys get side by side. It's another time where Matt definitely likes to use that apron is when these guys battle side by side in a little pack like they've done for the last few laps. On the inside of Jimmy Mullis, I'm sure he'll dive it down. We're right against the apron here.
There goes Matt Rolfe, and it looks like Bill Martin's going to try his hand out down there as well.
Yeah, he's going to get around Jimmy Mullis right there. Move up into 4th position. Jimmy's going to try to do what Matt's been doing to get around. Looks like he's going to try to get around Trevor Edwards too for 3rd.
Yeah, this is what you were stating, probably 15 laps ago. It's, once we get more rubber down the track, a little more heat in the track, that bottom line, extreme bottom line is going to come in. And, there's not a lot of guys that run it. That's why it works well for the 4X chassis, T4X racing guys. I mean, me and Matt, Daryl Hamlin, Clay Snyder, Russell Berry, a few other guys in there as well. We can run that line because that's what we set up a car for, knowing that a lot of people won't be down there. And right now it's paying dividends for Matt as he's coming up here to battle 3rd for Trevor Edwards.
He's trying to get it done. He just can't quite get Trevor clear. By the end of the straightaway, Trevor's got to the number on his door there each time, but he's trying and trying and trying. This time he doesn't get a very good exit off of turn 4. Gives the spot back to Trevor temporarily.
It can be difficult to the key is not to overdrive the entry. If you overdrive the entry, and that'll just kill everything else as the radius is super tight down there. But we'll go ahead and if everyone has surround sound speakers and everything, let's go ahead and do a few laps of cranking it up, and turn up the volume. We'll shut up so you can hear these cars run around the track at full song. Still a good battle here with Matt Rolfe and Trevor Edwards for P3. Matt's still working that low line. Jimmy Mullis has got a great view of everything that's going on. As this is a great battle. As you got what, 5
we got
cars.
Right behind him. Drew Kryback and Bill Martin have gotten together.
Oh man, those are posse teammates too. So that's that team speak is going to be interesting to hear on what happened with that. Go back here on this SARA TV instant replay. I didn't get a good look at it.
It looked like to me I think just maybe miscommunication was going on there. I'm sure they were talking to each other, but 39 just kind of maybe got a little tight under Drew. It looked pretty weird to me. Sure, really, that's an interesting one for sure. And then looks like the O2 for the 20 of Brandon Wilkinson maybe got a little damage as well.
Yeah, this finally came up here on my screen. Sorry about that. Yeah, it looks like Bill got into him in the right rear. Then, unfortunately, the guy who led us to green here tonight, Brandon Wilkinson, who has the fastest lap of the race tonight, got into that. So I'm sure he has some front end damage of his own. Hopefully, it didn't hurt the car too bad, as he is going down pit road currently, probably to get that assessed. And be interesting to see who comes down, take tires. It doesn't look like anybody is currently. They're going to just sit on it right now. DK's in bits. Probably trying to get his damage fixed. He probably could have messed up toe on his car as well.
Yeah, Matt Eddy, who pitted under that last caution for tires, looks like he's got some. Looks like he's picked up some new right side damage on that car at some point. So might be trying to get some of that fixed. He's still going to have a tire advantage over most of the field. I don't remember seeing that damage on the 88 before like that. So
yeah, he may have got caught up in breaking from that last wreck, or hard to say. But yes, he will have a tire advantage still over these guys, so he can still work his way back up through, maybe even to the top 10. You know, if this has a long green flag run to it. So far, we had 7 lead changes and 6 cautions here for the Midwest Powersource Springfest 300. We're at Irwindale Speedway for the Tundra Super Sim SARA Super Late Model Series, which is presented by Loco Toco Designs. And we're at lap 177 of 300, and Tom Majeski has been dominant so far in the in leading us. He has led 124 laps here tonight, so he's been dominant. Obviously, he's led the most laps so far here, and probably the rest is going to continue. So if you are ties, we're coming here to the green. You got Joe on the outside of you. You got Matt Rolfe, who's worked his way up to 3rd. He's been the class of the field. I don't think he's used up his stuff, but if you're him, I guess you're just trying to do the same thing as you were once before.
Jesse gets another great jump. Matt Rolfe, not too good of a start there. Jesse's able to easily get up top. Trevor Edwards, nice restart. He's on the outside. Matt Rolfe for 3rd.
And if
Matt might slip back here. It's the bottom again. Probably gonna take it a few laps to get back going.
Yep, absolutely. That's what I was going to say is, you know, it's going to take a little bit for that bottom to work back in. So if you're Matt, you're probably just trying to hang on to what you have and then work your way back up to the front again. As you see Joe working a little bit lower line himself, going down into 3 and 4, and we'll see if he can be able to hang with Ty here. The Ty was been able to pull away, but Joe hasn't started second until now, so maybe he can hang with him.
You'll see Ty has been pulling out to about 3-second leads under these little runs we've had so far since the competition caution.
Yeah, I would say that what you have right now, you're going to use up, because at the next caution, given that we have about another 20-plus lap run, here you're probably going to come down and get tires. So right now, the guys are probably getting all they can out of the tires that they currently have on, so they can go down and get a new set for the final run towards the checkers. As we're single file here, it looks like from about 1st all the way through 10th to 12th.
And Bill Martinsville, the first car out of line underneath the 07 Andre Farini. Going for 12th right there. Drew Krybach right behind him, who were just involved in the last caution, so they're trying to work their way back forward. Doesn't look like either of them got a little, a lot of damage. The 12 already had some damage from an earlier incident, so.
Yeah, he's been around the spin cycle a couple times tonight.
Oh, he's going around again.
He's going around again. Looks like, man, this is just a tough break here for Drew Krybach here tonight. Been around. Don't think he's had too much damage. I think him and Andre got into it going into 3. We'll go back and look at the SARA TV instant replay to see exactly what happened, but out of the corner of my eye, I think he may have gotten a little bit of help from Andre. Moves up in front of Andre down the backstretch, and then it's got Goose going into 3. Didn't stand a chance in saving it. The 11 of Wright gets involved in that one. There again, it's a little bit of front end damage. Everyone else did a really good job of avoiding that wreck. As with these super late models, got a lot of rear brake in them to help turn, especially here, so it's easy to lock and spin them out. So good job by the rest of the field.
A lot of faking on the pit road right there. Looks like Trevor Edwards faked out a few people, but everybody kind of followed Trevor back out of the pits. I think it's just a little too early for tires now that we're looking like we're gonna have maybe a run of cautions, but do have some drivers back into the pits, but it's the same group of people really just fixing damage, it looks like, towards the back of the field.
Yeah, this pit road's pretty hard to deke people on, being how it's set up down here on the inside. It's not like you can just decommit because you got the wall there. So, if you're going down there, you're pretty much set to go. Or other tracks, you don't have a wall, you can kind of abort the mission there really late before the commitment cone. Maybe get some guys to go down.
I think the only driver that's put on their tires so far is the 88 of Matt Eddy, who's really been fixing damage the last few cautions. He still is on the lead lap in 19th, but I think he picked up some damage once he got his new tires, which probably hurt him more than he'd liked.
Currently Tom Majewski is your leader. He's led 135 laps out of the 189 that have been ran. 300 lap total race here tonight. Joe Schaefer Jr. is second. Trevor Edwards is third. Matt Rolfe is fourth, and Ken Warren is fifth. As we're coming to 1 to go, and I guess we'll try to see the same thing here once again. Maybe we can get some green flag run in here, or like you stated, breed cautions, and maybe we'll get a couple more and see how things shake out as far as the tire strategy goes.
Yeah, I think if we probably run if we get a 20-25 lap run, I bet at least we'll see these guys come down pit road. But if we keep seeing cautions like this, probably see these guys stay out of the front of the field as Majewski gets another nice jump.
He did, and it looks like things stacked up there behind him. Ken Moore moves right up in front of Matt Rolfe. That's going to try to squeeze it on the outside of him, and they're 3 wide out of turn 2, back there battling for fourth places. There's a huge
crash.
Oh, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cars involved in that one. Couldn't see what happened in time, but I know Matt Rolfe was involved in it. Ken Warren was there. Michael Goddard was just below him. Go ahead and watch this SARA TV as we have another caution here tonight. Look at that, Matt shows that he's on the outside of Ken, and looks like they just make contact as they hit the opening, and Jimmy Mullis gets involved in that as well. Jari's in it. Looks like Austin's in it. Travis Wright, maybe.
A lot of drivers towards the back of the field got involved in that. There's a little contact with the 35 and the 81, but I don't know how much of a role that had in that accident.
Yeah, that's just a tough break for everyone there involved. Those guys were running up front. Matt made his way up there. Kim was having a good run. Same way with Jimmy, and that was just a tough break. Yeah, it looks like Ken gets up into Matt. Watching it here again. Then
trying to decide if there's a lot of netcode between the 35 and the 81. That we've seen some weird netcode already tonight.
Well, by me looking at it again, it looks like they all looks like Kim may have gotten into Matt and then came down a little bit, but it looks like Goddard was maybe coming up a little bit as well. I mean, I'm not blaming it on Michael by any means, but it's just it got really tight there on the backstretch. And, it caused havoc there with 4th through 6th, and then maybe even some guys on further back because Jason Miller was caught up in that and is watching that over as well.
Yeah, just not a lot of room for these guys to go, especially being already too wide on a restart. So that happens so quick. Hard to get stopped there, especially if you have somebody on your inside. You really just can't turn down and crash more cars. You just kind of headed into the accident at that point.
Yeah, it's super hard to turn away from them in that aspect, especially in these super late models. It's kind of hard to see in front of you, especially if you got a bunch of guys in front of you on a restart. They're kind of hard to see through sometimes when the wreck's happening. So we're going to 1 to go here coming back to green. And there's some heavy hitters that got taken out in that. As give a little shout out to Russell Berry here up in P7. He started towards the tail end of the field, and this race is up to 7th. So as we stated in the pre-race, it's about nutrition. And currently, Tom Majeski is showing everyone what it's all about as he's led 141, 142 laps. He takes them back into green, going down into one. And Edwards and Schaefer go to a little door-to-door battle here as these guys are battling hard here with still over 100 laps to go.
Yeah, that was kind of racing there. We see if this is a 200-lap race. We need a reminder to some of these guys this is a 300-lap event. A little bumping and banging there. Kind of surprising as we just had a big accident. Definitely don't want to see another one.
Yeah, well, it's you know, the racing has been really good so far. You know, we've had some cautions. Fortunately, especially here late, we've had 8 cautions so far, which isn't too terrible. I'd like to see it go a little bit longer under green. But yeah, especially after that big old wreck, I'm sure some guys have gotten over on the driver's channel and did a little bit of griping potentially, especially since the series admin was in on it. But looks like getting them strung out here now and may get us a good run going.
Yeah, you give a shout to Russell Berry. I'm going to give a shout to a guy that restarted right in front of him. Keith Medeiros started back last place in the field tonight. In the 6th position right here. Car looks pretty clean. I don't think I've seen him involved in anything tonight, but he's in it when it counts with 100 laps to go in 6th place.
Yeah, Keith Medeiros there out of Cape Coral, Florida, and the NRC Racing Team and Mike Woods Designs, number 60. So yeah, good job on him. You know, keeping the nose clean for the most part, it appears. And you know, that's how you get into these things. You try to sneak in at a top 5 or maybe even a win, just by trying to stay out of trouble and working your way up through the field.
Another driver's had a good recovery is the 39 of Bill Martin, a couple spots in front of him. Bill was involved in the caution, I think 3 cautions ago. Already back up to 4th place.
Yeah, Bill's got a strong car, so he's running good. You got the 50 car here, Mike Carlson, running P9. You know, good run for him out of West Salem, Wisconsin. Carlson racing Epic Media, Toyota. So, you know, he's having a good run for himself as well. Good to see him up here. And like I said, just a driver of good fortune. And he was running good anyways. But, you know, with that last wreck there, he was able to avoid it. And now here he is battling in the top 10 with the series points leader. And Jimmy Mullis has Ben Niles right behind them, who came out of the last chance qualifying race. You know, so he's running up here battling for the well, no, it's just, excuse me, Ben Niles a couple laps down. So that's my mistake, but he's still up here battling pretty good. He probably has new tires.
It looks like Joe Schaefer's on the inside of Trevor Edwards after a little restart contact. Joe's trying to get the 2nd spot back. But these guys are almost 2 seconds already behind Ty Majeski, who's already kind of set sail again.
Yeah, Majeski's in a league of his own. He's thinking up the show, which is he's probably the only one that's super happy about that. Luckily, we've had good racing behind him that we can show it on here. And as Joe's trying to work over Trevor Edwards here, going down into 3 and 4. We'll see how nice that they play together after that restart contact.
Yeah, Bill Martin trying to be a factor in the 2nd place battle too right here. Michael Goddard not too far behind either. It looks like Joe, that bottom line is starting to struggle just a little bit.
Yeah, he's not getting the drive off he needs. Car might be just a little bit tight or too tight for him to do what he needs to make that work. Probably going to pull in behind Bill and goes way back up to the top, and that's exactly what he did there. Now, mind you, these leaders haven't taken any tires yet. I don't think Bill has. Well, back there from that caution, I think he went in and maybe got some damage repaired potentially, or adjustments made as he's worked his way back up to 3rd. So these guys still got to get tires, and it's got a green flag fill as there's a lot of cars taken out from the last race.
Just as you say that, it's going to bring out a caution most likely. No caution yet. He spun down here on the apron.
Andrew Wooden is going to bring out your caution right here, right in front of the leader. It's Tom Majeski has to check up. I'm sure that's surprising him seeing the car coming back up the track. Probably some choice words coming from him as well. Can't be too happy about that. Go back and watch the SARA TV instant replay, see what happened here to Andrew. They go down into 3 and 4, and he just gets crazy loose right in front of Matthew Eddy and Jason Miller.
Yeah, it looks like he might have been hit by the 50 a lap prior, kind of got him out of shape and just kept kind of trying to save it the whole back straightaway. Car looked really out of control there, and then finally came around on him.
Well, with these super late models, you know, if you make that right rear mad, it takes a little bit for him to cool back down. So yeah, if he got super sideways and had to save it, and goes down to the next turn, not being real ginger on it, then he's going to loop it around like he just did.
Yeah, everybody's on pit road here. Does look like I don't see really anybody staying out that's on the lead lap.
No, it looks like everyone is pitting. We'll see who gets in their pit stop. Looks like everyone got in pretty good. Joe Schaefer Jr.'s got the right side jacked up. Jesse's got the left side. Edwards is off road. Interesting. He's off pit road really early. I wonder if he took 2 tires. Did he take 2 before? Well, that'd be something that be interesting to know if he took 2 before when he went down pit road there super early. He went ahead and took 2 here now, as he beat everyone off pit road pretty handily. So he had to do something.
Yeah, he was only in his box for 12.9, so definitely not 4 tires in the 32.
Yeah, we're gonna have someone down on pit road, see if they can find out if Trevor Edwards took 2 or 4 tires. I'd be very interested to know what he did based off the time he took 2, and then if he did, that's a bold strategy. He probably knows he doesn't have what it takes to beat Tom Majeski straight up, and but I just don't know if that's going to work here with right around 80 laps to go once we go back to green.
That might affect his plans is that 34 Alan Pajari actually did stay on the racetrack. He is the leader of the race.
Yeah, we're going back to green here. Actually, just being told that Trevor Edwards took no tires. Just to fix some damage, so he's hanging on to his set apparently. As we're going back to green, and we'll see what these tires do, especially with Majeski, who is already faster than everyone, and he's on fresh tires. Probably gonna take his time just a little bit, knowing that he's got the fastest car out here. Get around these guys that are on O tires and just maintain his gap out front. As Joe Schaefer Jr. takes it 3 wide, coming out of 4, excuse me, on Michael Goodard.
Alan Pajari starting to go backwards on those older tires.
This is going to be interesting to see now, Ian. So, you got Edwards and Pajari who are on O tires. You got Majeski and Goodard and Schaefer and Medeiros who are on fresh tires. If we get a decent green flag run and Edwards comes down and takes his tires and Pajari takes their tires, how much ground do they make up on these guys? And do they have enough time?
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see how that plays out. Looks like Edwards is a little more capable of staying up here towards the front on older tires. 34 does have a lot of damage, though, as he's slipping back here a few positions. But, yeah, I really think the last 80 laps would kind of be cut in half for this to work out. Maybe even less time than that. Maybe you want to run 50 laps and have a 30-lap run to the end on new tires. But
yeah, it's really interesting just looking at the times here. Majeski ran 43 that last lap. And Edwards ran a 48. So either Majeski's taking it easy on his stuff, or Edwards just has something figured out as he slows down that lap. He's about 3/10 slower that lap. So maybe things are starting to finally fall off for him here as the tires get their pressures built back up.
Michael Goddard here looking pretty racy. He's up to second around Joe Schaefer. He's keeping up with Majeski so far. So is Schaefer. So, like I said, maybe Ty is just taking it easy. 77 laps still. That's almost a full-length race sometimes at a bigger track for SARA. So,
yeah,
a better part of a race at least.
Yeah, it's a good distance no matter what. So he may be just minding his P's and Q's and not using up his stuff, especially knowing if Edwards and Pajari hasn't taken their tires just as of yet. Probably wants to save a little in the bank in case he has to fight off those 2 guys.
Back here in 5th, looks like Bill Martin, Trevor Edwards, Dallas Pataska battling for 5th here. Edwards dropping back a little bit more now.
Yeah, Pataska's having a good run here tonight. He's out of La Crosse, Wisconsin as well. The All-Star Elevators North Country Steak Buffet, Mr. Stick. Super late model. Looks like maybe running a Dodge. Kind of hard to say as Bill Martin pulls up front of him. But it's a good run for him tonight. He's got some damage, but still battling nutrition and running some decent times to stay up here in the top 6 or 7. As right now, Tom Majeski has not pulled away at all from Michael Goodard.
I don't know. I mean, based on these first few runs of the race, this is surprising. I don't know if he's just maybe trying to make them push harder so they use up their stuff. I mean, it's hard to say what he's doing. Maybe it's definitely weird because we've seen Majeski just pull away on every restart since he's taken over the race lead early in the race. So
yeah, he may have taken the do not disturb off his cell phone. And girlfriend's blowing him up, distracting him a little bit. As Joe Schaefer Jr. is going to go battle down into second. Bill Martin's battling Medeiros there. They're having a good battle for 5th. But yeah, I mean, it's interesting to see that he has not pulled away. I mean, he's running. They're all over each other as far as lap times go. They just go back and forth. I think he's setting the pace because the last lap they were all in the 6s and now they're all in the 4s. So he's probably just able to pull the trigger whenever he wants, which is a good feeling if you're the guy out front.
now those guys are racing side by side for second, starting to pull a little more of a gap. Schaefer really wants to get that second spot away to keep the pressure on Majeski. Wants to get this pass done as soon as he can.
Yeah, and Schaefer Jr. is he's seen the one guy, Zach Novak, have problems here tonight in the points, and he also seen Mullis have problems here, so he's going to try to capitalize on as many points as he can. And also, Joe's, I say that everyone's competitive, and we all are, but Joe's a super competitive guy. I talk to him every day, and you can get him going on a few things and rib him, and he's super competitive, so he won't let Ty get him away or get away from him too easily. He'll try to reel him in and beat him straight up if he can, even though they're teammates.
Yeah, he gets around Michael there. Bill Martin going around for third now.
Yeah, so you got posse 1, 2, 3 right now.
Who may have used up his stuff there a little bit more. Maybe he's just kind of right in line here now that he's slipped back a couple spots.
Well, we're going to be getting close to no man's land here for Trevor Edwards, as we're on lap 236 of 300. There's going to be a point of no return on his investment of holding on to those tires.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see. Looks like Alan Pajari, the other driver that hasn't taken his tires yet, I don't believe. He's all the way back to 12th. He's about a half a lap down, so this keeps running green for Alan. I mean, he might lose a lap on these older tires.
Yeah, and that's worst case scenario there for him. He cannot go a lap down without getting his tires. That's happened to me before in the fall brawl for SARA, where you just try to play the tire game as long as you can. You end up getting caught out on a long green flag run, and then pretty much your night's ruined at that point. So yeah, those guys are going to be looking for a caution here pretty soon, as we're coming up with 60 to go. And it's going to take a little time to wherever they are. Trevor Edwards currently right now is in P7, and like I said, Pajari's in 12th, about a half track behind. It takes a little time to get around, even though you have new tires. Get around some of these guys, especially Majeski and Schaefer and Bill. They're fast, so even though you have new tires on there, it's going to need some laps to do it in. So they're going to be looking for a caution here pretty soon.
The guy right behind Trevor Edwards, Scott Austin, I mean, 220 laps ago, he was spun around. He went a lap down early in the race. He said, a long way to go. And here he is battling for the 7th position. He's the first driver to go a lap down the night after no caution spin, and he's recovered all the way back up to 7th, really battling here hard. Russell Berry right behind him, too, having a really nice run, too.
Absolutely. It's a great point that you bring up there, Ian. Scott had got involved in that incident, and he's battled hard to work his way back up here into the 7th position, and he's out of Tinley Park, Illinois, and he's got Russell Berry behind him, and Russell's kind of the same way. He's just slowly and methodically held held on here to the top 10, and they come out here with a top 10 finish if everything goes the way they want to.
Yeah, Scott's definitely benefited from some of these cautions too. I have him noted as being down pit road 7 times a night, getting some of that damage fixed from that lap. I think it was about lap 20 spin. So definitely has paid off for him. The car's running pretty good.
Yeah, definitely
tires on it.
A round of beer for his pit crew here tonight, as they've worked on it. You know, like I said, he's battling up here, so good for him.
A little farther behind him, we talked about Jimmy Mullis, points leader, getting damage on the last track. Damage is hurting him quite a bit, but he's still motoring along in 10th place, so not as bad as it looked for him. He's got a lot of front end damage, but still able to hold on to the top 10 for now.
Yeah, he definitely could be much worse for him. Looks like he's still at full song as the car's getting all the way up to the top of its RPM range before it hits the limiter. So yeah, he's probably just got some damage there, and he's just cruising along, biding his time, and maybe trying to pick up a few spots here. So he could be having a worse night than he probably should be, based off of the wreck that he got in. But the car's holding strong there for him, and as he sees Joe Schaefer Jr. up there in 2nd place, who he's going to be battling the points with, he'll take a top 10 after some tough luck here tonight.
Actually, what it might be with Mullis, I don't believe he got any tires when he was getting his damage fixed on that last caution, so he might actually end up better than he is. I don't believe he's gotten tires in that car yet.
Well, if he has,
don't have able to go back and check, but I don't believe he's put any tires on that car yet.
Yeah, if he has not, then that's going to be a huge threat. You know, even for Trevor Edwards here, that's going to be a huge threat because Mullis is always fast no matter where he goes. I mean, he stunk up the show at Oxford Plains about a month ago as he led every lap there. And so, yeah, if he hasn't got his tires yet, that's going to be something to keep an eye on with the number 40 of Jimmy Mullis and the 32 of Trevor Edwards. If we get a caution anytime soon, I think they're end-all be-all as far as the caution. It's probably going to be lap 280 or so as far as how late they go to get the tires. They'll make their way up to the front for the win. But it's going to be interesting to see if caution does come out by then, if they can do that, and if Mullis goes down pit road to get those 4 tires.
Yeah, Trevor's falling back to Jimmy here. Another thing they're going to have to hope for is if it runs green that long, they're going to have to stay in the lead lap. They're 10.5 seconds back of Majeski, who's running almost 6/10 a lap quicker than these guys. So at that pace, they might be going a lap down before they get a caution. Alan Pajari is in serious danger of doing that. He's 14 seconds off the lead. And I'm sure on 250 lap old tires, he's probably doesn't have the best handling race car with all that damage either.
Yeah, the damage is not doing him any favors, that's for sure. Yeah, so he's probably pretty loose right now. The tires are on their last life, and he's probably looking in his mirror or even in his relative box and seeing that Tom Majeski's closing in on him lap by lap, as Majeski was about 6/10 faster than him that last lap. So, like you stated, he's going to be going a lap down here before too long if he doesn't get a caution quick.
Yeah, Majeski's only his current pace about 5.5 seconds back of Trevor Edwards, who's in 8th. So if he keeps up his current pace, we're talking about these guys possibly going a lap down here on these possible no tire strategies for Trevor and Jimmy. About 10 to 12 laps, and this group really racing hard. Trevor Edwards, Russell Berry, side by side for 8th. Trevor, you can see he's pretty loose.
Yeah, which is just going to slow him down even more. So if you're Tom Majeski, you're out to a comfortable lead over your teammate Joe Schaefer, 1.3 second lead. You've been the dominant car here tonight, and if you believe that you have a couple of guys that you're catching up on to put a lap down that haven't taken tires who can be legitimate threats for the win, maybe you try to run them down and put them a lap down. Go ahead and put this thing in the bag, as Edwards is super loose out of 4.
Yeah, Russell Berry is able to get past him there into 8th.
Great run by Russell Berry in the Berry Trucking T4X Chevrolet.
Yeah, Jimmy Mullis trying to go to the inside now. This definitely slowed their pace down. They're again 6/7 slower than Majeski. That lap, they're down in the 18-second bracket, and Majeski's doing 17.3s around here. As you can see, Edwards really fighting this car now. A little 3 wide with Ben Nile and the 50 of Mike Carlson.
Yeah, Edwards is, and it goes back to what I was saying earlier. If that right rear is, he's going to take it off. As you see him, he's just pretty much sliding that right rear even down the straightaway. So he's in a lot of trouble here. Majeski's catching him. And if he doesn't get a caution really quick, he's going to be going a lap down, and that'll pretty much just end the rest of his night.
Yeah, Alan Pajari's already went a lap down. Now the 50 and the 32 making a little contact. Their pace is almost. His 32 is almost spinning off of turn number 2 here.
Yeah, he's in a lot of trouble.
Majeski's right behind him now. That's going to put Trevor a lap down here. If Majeski can get around him, this should be a pretty easy pass. Based on how that 32's been struggling off the corners, he does go a lap down.
Yeah, as he goes a lap down here, and he's still okay if he gets a caution. What he doesn't need is for Mike Carlson in the 50 to go a lap down, and if he does that, then he's pretty much sealed his fate here for tonight in the Midwest Powersource Springfest 300. As he's had a good car all night, and Trevor Edwards just trying to play the strategy, think no tires, and hoping for another caution, and it hasn't came for him as Majeski's closing in on Carlson.
Yeah, just played the strategy wrong at this point. Like we talked about at the very beginning of the broadcast, it's you hope you pit for your tires on the last caution, and so far we're about 50 laps in this run since almost everybody was down pit road as Mike Carlson does go a lap down. So now if Jimmy Mullis hasn't taken tires, he's the next car right in front of Majeski here. Sure, Ty's going to be wanting to get around him and Russell Berry, who's right in front of him, put him a lap down.
Yeah, I think Russell's already taken his tires, so if you can put as many cars as you can a lap down, obviously that's what you're wanting to do here if you're Ty Majeski, but at no risk of your race. He's obviously going to take his time. He's got a 2-second lead over Joe Schaefer. And if you're Joe Schaefer right now, you're probably just trying to run your race, maybe save a little bit in hopes that maybe if there's a late race caution, you can give Ty Majeski a battle for the win. But yeah, if Ty can get around Jimmy Mullis here, then that pretty much takes all the cars that have not pitted behind Ty Majeski. And if you're Ty Majeski, that's exactly what you want to see. The only thing you have to worry about is someone's on tires as you. Only that you have the dominant car here of the race so far, as he is I can't pull it up here, but he's pulled he's led the most laps here tonight. So he's led 211. So he's led 2/3 of the race here so far, almost.
You want to mention former 7th place driver Scott Austin. Looks like he had to come down pit road to get some fuel. Didn't have enough in that car. I think he was kind of banking on a caution, or maybe forgot to put fuel in on the last caution, but he had to come down under green. He lost 2 laps. He was right in front of that Russell Berry-led group in 7th, so that puts him 2 laps down to our leader back to 17th, as Jimmy Mullis goes 1 lap down to leader Ty Majeski right here, 8th place driver.
And
still not a bad night for Jimmy, all things considered, as he was in a big accident. So
it's really not. As the point leader, you want to minimize your drop weeks. You want to obviously be your lowest finish to be still a good finish. So he'll take a top 10 considering how tonight went, as Russell Berry goes a lap down here now, and he'll probably end up taking this to walk away from it. As we're working on lap 274 here now of 300. Ty Majeski has led 215 laps, and he's up 2.5 seconds over Joe Schaefer Jr., who's running second. Bill Martin rounds out your top 3 as a posse 1, 2, 3.
And Dallas Staska not too far ahead of Ty Majeski to go 1 lap down in 6th place. Just a couple cars ahead of Majeski here.
Yeah, as we're he's got this thing on rails. He's been quick. He felt really comfortable about his race set last week when we were talking to him after he gathered the pole in the last week, and he said he felt good about it, and he wasn't lying. So it's obviously he knows what he has. Going into the race is probably better than most of us do. He's putting on a show here tonight in this 91 Ford Performance Ford Fusion.
Yeah, he gets around Dallas there, put him a lap down. So just top 5 drivers on the lead lap. You mentioned Schaefer's in 2nd, Bill Martin 3rd, Michael Goddard's 4th, and Keith Medeiros is 5th. Keith, he's nothing really happens to him. I think he's got that hard charger locked up. He started 27th last on the field and up 22 spots. I believe he was eligible for that.
Well,
Unless
Keith is not eligible,
wasn't he?
Keith isn't eligible for it because he did not run in the qualifying last week. He was locked in, but he did not run and didn't put down a lap time. So he's unfortunately not eligible for the hard charger. Currently, Russell Berry is your hard charger of the race.
Still, regardless, I mean, 22 spots, definitely a good run for Keith. Regardless if he's eligible for hard charger or not.
Absolutely, yeah, it was a great run for him tonight. As you see, Joe Schaefer Jr. here, he has a ton of lap down traffic who are all battling for position outside of Ben Nall there. They're battling for Drew Kryback. So basically, Russell Berry and Jimmy Mullis are battling for position. And Kryback and Nall are battling for their own position as they're 2 laps down. And you got Joe Schaefer Jr. who's battling with his teammate, Bill Martin, for 2nd place. And see how they work through this traffic here. There's a ton of guys just globbed together.
These guys lead lap working their way around the bottom. So far pretty cleanly. But that did allow Bill Martin to run down basically to the back bumper of Schaefer as he's working through this traffic. They've got through about half of it so far.
And another half here to go. And if you're Joe Schaefer Jr., what you are loving now, your front window, you're seeing the series points leader that you're about to pass, not for a position, even though he is currently running in 8th. So, you know, it's obviously momentum is on the Posse and Joe Schaefer Jr. side here this week. See how that carries into next week, as these guys are still battling it out for 2nd place. It was around lap 284 of 300, winding down here in the Powersource 300 here at Irwindale.
And what's also done, even though he already had a pretty sizable lead, Majeski's lead up to over 5 seconds here, Schaefer and Bill Martin have been navigating pretty quickly through this traffic, but it's taken him longer than Majeski did to get through this traffic, so it just continues to extend his lead. He's doing about 3 to 4 tenths quicker a lap than Schaefer and Martin right now. The only thing that might happen if Schaefer and Martin continue to get held up in traffic, it might bring Michael Goddard and Keith Medeiros into this battle. They're 2 seconds back of the top 3.
Yeah, they can work their way up there, and maybe we can get a little battle for the last 2 steps on the podium. And as currently it's filled up with the Posse running 1, 2, 3, but if Goddard or Medeiros can get up there and challenge them, that'd be a great little battle there for 3rd spot.
Looks like Schaefer's finally clear of most of the traffic. He's just got to go around Dallas up here. Bill Martin trying to get around Russell Berry. They finally kind of worked their way through that.
Yeah, it took them a little bit of time to get through them, but they were patient with it and worked their way through. They pretty much know that they're going to finish 2nd and 3rd one way or the other. So there's no sense in forcing it. They're definitely not going to be battling for the win, as Majeski has pulled it out to almost a 6-second lead over Joe Schaefer Jr. And just winding these laps down, just go ahead and get them logged and finish out the night with a good top 3.
Yeah, Majeski just took a strike, 10 laps to go. It looks like Schaefer and Bill Martin worked their way through all the traffic pretty much. Now Michael and Keith got to go through it, so that's going to slow their pace down, but with only 10 laps to go in 2 seconds, they're just going to probably stay where they are, it looks like, at this point.
Yeah, they're just going to probably end up riding it out, as Majeski is lapped down all the way up to 6th spot. And Keith Medeiros is your last car on the lead lap. That big incident that we had there right around 200 or so took out a lot of fast guys like Matt Rolfe and Jason Miller, which is, see Jason Miller there is about to get passed by Joe Schaefer Jr. Jimmy Mullis was caught up in that, and along with some others. And like I said, Trevor Edwards didn't take tires to our knowledge, so that, unfortunately for him, the cautions didn't fall for him, so it took him out of the race. So it kind of worked out extremely well outside of still just having a fast car for Tom Majeski. It worked out for him to not have to worry about those guys.
Yeah, Edwards, Pajari, and I believe Jimmy Mullis all lapped down, but Pajari about to go 2 laps down actually on his older tires. He's just right in front of our leader. So it definitely didn't work out for them, as once we had that big accident, it really just spread out the field and down to about 17 or 18 cars running. So
yeah, it shortened up the field there a little bit, and you know, of course, guys had to do something different than Tom Majeski. He had the dominant car here all night, and when there's someone that's as dominant as that, kind of know if you have anything for him or not, and you know, you have to switch up your plan there. Maybe get on newer tires, and that's what Trevor Edwards did. You know, if he could have got that caution, we could be talking about him up front right now. So that's not how it played out. As we're down to 3 to go, coming to 2 to go for Tom Majeski.
I just want to mention there's a pass for 7th. Looks like Jimmy Mullis was able to get around Russell Berry for 7th place. So you know, every point matters, and it's a couple of valuable points for Jimmy there to get up to 7th at least after being involved in that accident about 85 laps ago.
Absolutely. As Tom Majeski comes out of 4, taking the white flag. Going down
No
into 1 and 2. No traffic in sight. Led the most laps here tonight. Leading 241. This is going to be 242 coming out of turn 4. And your winner here tonight is Tom Majeski in the Midwest Powersource Springfest 300. Second is Joe Schaefer Jr. Third is Bill Martin. Fourth, with a great finish, is Michael Goodard. And rounding out your top 5 is Keith Medeiros. Impressive performance here by Tom Majeski. Leading all those laps. Everything worked out for him. He was able to pull out to a lead whenever he wanted to. You know, he put the car wherever he wanted to. And, you know, it's just a great finish as a posse. Finished 1, 2, 3. We're going to line it up here on the front stretch. And that's a great run for them here tonight, as Russell Berry will be your hard charger here tonight, and he comes in 8th. So it's a great run for him as well. Go ahead and bring the results up here. Then Tom Majeski is your winner here. Joe Schaefer Jr. second. Bill Martin third. Michael Goodard's 4th. 5th is Keith Medeiros. 6th, Dallas Pataska. 7th, Jimmy Mullis. 8th, Russell Berry. 9th, Trevor Edwards. Round out your top 10, Mike Carlson. We'll go ahead and see if we can get an interview here with Bill Martin, who finished 3rd here tonight. Bill, congratulations on your run. Looks like you got caught up in an incident there with your teammate, with Drew Kraback there. Before we head in to talk about how the rest of the night went, what happened there between you two?
I haven't even looked yet. I went to the bottom, and I don't know that he knew that I was doing that. So I think in my brain that he came down, not realizing I'd be there. I'm going to watch the video later and realize that's probably not what happened.
Well, you know, you end up working your way back up into 3rd place here. You know,
that wasn't the only spin, by the way. There was I spun out earlier.
Oh,
too.
yes. Yeah, you got loose out at 2, and I think what happened there as well? Did you get tight or loose? I can't 100% remember exactly what happened. You'd know better than I would.
The back end of a car hit my car, and I couldn't save it.
Well, you
Coming
need to get
out of a corner.
Well, I mean, it's a tough break there, because I think you slid across the nose of Joe, who had no choice but to accidentally get into you and turn you down there. And unfortunately, with iRacing, you weren't in anyone's way, so no caution came out.
It's okay. It's okay, because Joe kind of did me a favor by getting me out of the way, because I was going to end up down there anyways, but I was probably going to head for a wall because I wasn't in any sense of control. So as soon as Joe turned the car, it helped.
Well,
that was good.
I mean, you still battled back no matter what, to a 3rd place finish. You had your teammates there in front of you, with Joe and Ty obviously dominating here tonight. So congratulations to you all. You obviously found something out there. Is there any thanks or shout outs you want to give to anyone, or?
Primarily to Joe and Ty, well, both Ties, because all three of them worked on setup stuff. And I haven't been around lately, so I usually have a big part in the setups, and they actually diverted entirely away from my setup this time. And we used something that Joe came up with, and he did a really good job. I spun out twice, and then I also got a penalty in the pits. I was speeding on the exit to try to beat someone. So I had to go through the field 3 times. So to be able to go through the field 3 times on this setup is remarkable, because you know what it's like. Passing on the bottom sucks. And it did it.
Yeah, that's where I prefer to pass people here, is on the bottom. But yeah, well, I mean, the fact that you did that, you probably passed more cars than anyone. So kudos to you. And we'll speak to Joe and Ty here in just a second and give them kudos for the setup. I also would like to thank you for sponsoring the series for Dr. Noise. So we appreciate that, and we love seeing you come out and race with us. Obviously, week after week, it's fun racing with you, and it's fun watching you race. So some congratulations on your 3rd place finish here tonight, and hopefully see you again next week.
Thanks, man. And thank you and Clay also for doing this, because it's a lot of work. People probably don't know that. It's a lot of freaking work to do what you're doing right now, and you're brand new to it. You're doing a great job.
Yeah, well, thank you. I had Ian here with me tonight. He helped me out a lot here tonight, and helped me and Clay. So obviously he's a big part of here for tonight. And but yeah, we'll appreciate you giving us a shout out there as well. We enjoy it. That's why we do it.
Good job to Ian too. Take care, guys.
All right, thanks, Bill. That's Bill Martin finishing in 3rd place here tonight. As he said, he's ran through the field there a few times and finished up in 3rd place. And right now we have our 3-time defending series champion who finished 2nd here tonight, Joe Schaefer Jr. Joe, you had a great run here tonight. It just looked like you didn't have enough there for your teammate and Ty Majeski. Is there anywhere in particular that he was beating you at, or is there, what were you missing here tonight?
Well, kind of everywhere. You kind of prepare for that you're going to be the bridesmaid and not the bride when Ty shows up, and especially since we were running very similar setups. He was better all around. He put in a lot of laps this week, even more than I did, and I thought I overdid it. If I was going to get him, I would have had to beat him off pit road and then have him get past and have to run in traffic for a while behind me, but just the way it worked out was perfect with timing and stuff, and I can't complain with 2nd place.
Yeah, I mean, it's, anytime that Ty shows up here, Ty Majeski shows up here, you're going to have your hands full for the win. You're always in contention here for the win. So it was good seeing you running up front. You did have a small scare there with Bill Martin. We just spoke with him, and he had a little incident out of 2 there early in the race, and I think he came off of your nose with no fault of your own. You just kind of did it, but it looks like it was a little scare there for you, so good driving there on your part.
That, actually, I did get into him, and that was a 4X coming across my nose, but, I mean, like you said, there's nothing I could do about it. I didn't even really know that he was, I didn't know that he was actually sliding. I just thought that he was going to be shifting down in front of me, and I didn't realize it till the last second. But what I was more concerned about was heading off into turn 1, maybe about 200 laps in. I pinched Trevor a little bit, and he got me in the left rear, and I slid all the way through 1 and 2. That was the scare of the race for me.
Well, you held on to it, and for a 2nd place finish, is a good points night here for you, as Jimmy Wallace actually finished 8th here tonight, or 7th here tonight. He got caught up in the wreck, but you probably should gain some points here, so it should be interesting to see what they look like after this. So congratulations on gaining points and making your way, trying to be the 4-time Tundra Super Late Model Series champion.
All right, thank you. And I know Novak had problems tonight too, so he's right there with us, Jimmy and I, in the points. So it's definitely tightened it up after tonight.
It has. Is there any thanks or shout outs you want to give here before we so you can go out and have a little party?
Definitely want to thank my guys at the posse. Majeski in particular, him and I talked pretty much all day today and yesterday working on the setup, and got a little bit lucky that it all worked out, but happy with the results.
All right, well, like I said, congratulations there once again, and we'll look forward to seeing you out here next week.
All right, thank you.
All right, bud. That was Joe Schaefer Jr. finishing second, and like I say, he's your 3-time series champion and reigning champion. And we'll see what he can do next week. I'm sure Jimmy Mullis and Zach Novak are going to come back charging hard for him. It should be a great points battle towards the end of the year. I'm going to go ahead and bring in the race winner here tonight in the Midwest Powersource Springfest 300. Tom Majeski, congratulations on your big win here tonight. You pretty much dominated the field, did what you want when you wanted it. There at the very end, you took tires, and Joe took tires, and some other guys did, and Trevor Edwards did not, and I think Pajari and maybe a couple other guys didn't. So what was your mindset on that, thinking that maybe another caution could come out? Were you pushing hard, or were you just kind of holding back a little bit?
Yeah, initially I was holding back. When I think Michael was on my bumper, I was just kind of pacing myself, just kind of going as fast as I needed to go to stay out front. But once the field started to thin out a little bit and get single file, I started to pull away from those guys, and pretty soon, kind of the threats that if a caution did come out, the threats were all of a sudden on the same straightaway as me. So then I shifted into hammer down mode to put them a lap down and make sure I passed one car beyond them to make sure they didn't get the lucky dog. So my strategy kind of changed there as that long run went on, and it ended up working out.
Yeah, me and Ian were discussing that, and we could see that you're drawing closer and closer to those guys, thinking that maybe you were pushing at that point to put them a lap down, as you stated, and it ended up working out for you. You led the most laps here tonight. You led almost 250 laps. You took the lead, early on, even after the invert, which you ended up gaining 2 spots there in the very beginning. It was a posse 1, 2, 3 night here, so a very successful night for the posse. I mean, what do you think that the key was on according to Joe? You and him talked all this week, working on the setup a little bit. You're a lot faster than everyone else, but where do you think you were beating guys at? Was it in the entry, in the center, the exit, or just all the above?
I definitely wasn't beating guys on entry. I kind of rode this track a little bit different. A lot of guys like to charge the corner and kind of diamond it. Whereas I kind of go in easy and get the car pointed early and make the straightaway as long as possible. Joe and I worked really hard on the setup, just making sure it could go anywhere because we never race under these overcast conditions here at Irwindale. We know the track widens out, but we didn't know quite what it was going to do in the overcast conditions. So we make sure we made the car, just to be able to go everywhere. And as you guys saw, I was all the way from the grass to the wall, and no matter where I went, it made speed. So I think that was the key. When I got back in traffic, I passed Trevor on the outside and passed a couple other guys in the bottom. So like I said, just having a car that could go anywhere at any point in time, and have a car able to adapt to the conditions that are presented to you.
Well, you all made it look easy tonight, especially yourself. When you say you led 242 laps. And congratulations to you once again on winning here tonight. It was a big win. It was, just pretty much the longest race in SARA history. And I noticed on Twitter that you put your girlfriend there on the do not disturb list on your phone. I don't know if you ever took her off of it or not, but if you did not take her off of it, you're gonna have to keep her on it for any time that you race from now on, because you just dominated tonight.
Yeah, it's been boring. She's in the other room. She's probably sleeping by now. It's quite a long race, probably a little bit boring too, but no, it's all fun and games. We have fun together, and just thank you guys for doing this broadcast. It really helps. I'll try and give you guys a shout out on Twitter, and hopefully get some more followers and some good guys running this great series.
Yeah, well, we appreciate all the help. So we appreciate you doing that. Is there any thanks or shout outs you'd like to give to anyone before we let you go off and celebrate in victory lane?
Just my teammates. Joe and I really worked really hard on the setup all week, and Spearman was out of town, and so what's cool about our team is we all lean on each other. We all have obviously lives outside of iRacing, and there might be some time where I'm unable to build a setup, and those guys will help out and do it for me and give it to me, and vice versa. So we just have a really good relationship within the posse, and a huge shout out to all those guys.
All right. Well, congratulations to you and your team once again, and we hope to see you here in the upcoming weeks. I know your race schedule is going to start to be picking up here pretty soon, but obviously you're more than welcome to come out and join us at any point in time, and we hope to see you soon.
All right, absolutely. I'll be around. Thank you, guys.
All right. Thanks, brother. That was Tom Majeski, tonight's race winner here tonight in the Midwest Powersource Springfest 300. We didn't have a hard charger in Russell Berry. We're going to try to get him in here before too long. But Ian, before we wrap up here tonight, you heard the driver interviews there. We've seen what happened here tonight. What's your take on the race? What'd you think how everything was?
I mean, we saw a little bit of it all tonight. We had a couple long green flag runs, a big wreck, a lot of smaller wrecks, and a lot of good racing. Definitely saw the track widen out. We weren't sure how much it was going to widen out. As we saw people like Matt Rolfe. He was down all the way around the yellow line. Like Ty said, people were up by the outside wall. There was the normal Irwindale groove going on. So the track spread out despite the overcast weather, and saw a really interesting race play out. Some varying tire strategies. So we got a little bit of everything tonight for sure.
Yes, we did. And we got Russell Berry in here now. He's your hard charger here tonight. Russell, I spoke to you prior to the race, because I didn't know if you were going to be racing here tonight, and you started further back in the field, and you finished up P8 tonight. What was the key to you, running up here into the top 10 here late in the race to win the hard charger award?
And really, I don't know. I was kind of worried because the car was a little slower than everybody else, so my key was just do like I normally do and just keep it clean and smooth and see what I can get.
Well, I mean, you definitely did that. I believe your car is looking clean. I don't think there's any dents or anything like that on it. That's a lot to be said here tonight, as there was a couple big incidents happening. But like I said, you're the winner of the Dynamic Autosports Hard Charger Award, and I'm not too sure what you get from that, to be completely honest. That wasn't said to me, but if anything, it's bragging rights. And, congratulations to you once again, and a very solid top 10 finish here tonight in the Midwest Powersource Springfest 300. Is there any, thanks or shout-outs you'd like to give?
Yeah, I'd like to thank my teammates, you guys, Daryl for the setup, Matt, sponsors, Barry Trucking, and AutoWorks MD, and that's about it.
All right, well, once again, congratulations, and, we'll see you there next week, okay?
Thank you, sir.
All right, take care, bud.
Okay.
And that was Russell Berry, your hard charger. I mean, that's what we said, Ian, is that was the key to all of this. Is it's about nutrition and working your way through it, and that's what Russell did to come out with a a nice top 10 finish.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we saw him up there battling with Jimmy Moles, trying to hold his own against some of the top drivers in the league, and he has 0 incidents. He's one of 2 drivers out here who has 0 X tonight, and that's a victory in some ways too. I mean, Majeski and Russell Berry, the only 2 drivers without any incidents, doesn't have any damage on the car, and gets rewarded with an 8th place finish. Definitely a good night for him.
Absolutely. And we went ahead and pulled Trevor Edwards in here, and I more so want to ask him about his car and his strategy there. Now, Trevor, me and Ian were talking, and we seen you go down pit lane maybe once or twice. Ian would know better than I would, maybe to take fuel or adjustments. But did you ever take tires?
It was supposed to take tires, and everybody else, when Majeski and Schaefer and all them took tires, it was supposed to, but for some reason it glitched, and I didn't realize it till I wasn't even paying attention. I was looking at my phone, actually, and thought I beat him off pit road, and then right before coming back to green, I realized it didn't take tires.
Okay, so then that makes sense then. And unfortunately for yourself, you didn't get another caution there late, because ideally you could have taken those tires then, and it probably would have all worked out for you. But you did have a fast car here tonight. You were running up front before that incident there on pit road. So prior to that, how was things playing out for you as far as how your race strategy was going? Was everything going according to plan?
Yeah, I think Ty had the best car. I think I was as good as Joe and Bill. Right before the race, I set the car up for 15 gallons and then decided to put 22 in it. And I do a couple things to make it pass tech. So when I was going to take tires, I was actually going to put in, I guess you call it a real setup, what I had it planned to be. So I think we would have had something for those 2, but Ty would have been very tough to beat.
Yeah, he was strong here tonight. There was a handful of cars, yourself being one of them, Schaefer, Martin, Goodard, and then of course Matt was up there. Matt Rolfe was up there battling too. Got caught up in that incident. That those cars were viable P2 cars. It seemed like Majeski was in a league of his own. But tough luck here for you tonight. Will you be back with us next week?
Stafford.
I believe so.
I'll probably be at Stafford. Stafford's my favorite track on here, so I'll probably end up making an appearance for that one.
All right, awesome. Well, Be great to see you out here again next week. Is there any thanks or shout outs you'd like to give?
I'll just say thanks to Dynamic Auto Sports, all them guys over there. Wish that Adam and Samuel could have made it tonight. They had other stuff come up last minute, so they couldn't race.
All right. Well, hopefully they can be with us here again next week as well and get all y'all out on the track, because just enjoy watching you all. And like I said, it's a little tough luck here for you tonight, but better luck next week.
Thanks, man.
All right, bud. And then there you go, Ian. That's what happened with that. And it was an unfortunate glitch on Trevor's part why he couldn't get his tires. And could be a different story up there for second if he was able to get them.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense why he just kind of sat there and the car wouldn't really do anything. So, not what we originally thought, but yeah, it'd be interesting to see if he did get even a caution to get those tires even. But it didn't really work out either way for him. He wanted to get tires and never got them, and never got a caution to get the tires that he wanted in the first place. So, tough break there. Still a top 10 effort though for Trevor. So still a good night. Not as good as he was hoping for, I would assume, but not a bad finish.
All in all, correct. It's not a bad finish. And we're going to wrap up this whole thing here. We're talking with one more person, and that is our series admin, Matt Rolfe. We can do a little two-part segment, Matt. We can do the first one with the driver and do the second with the admin. So with the driver portion of it, me and Ian are watching you, along with all the other viewers. And you're really making the bottom line work after about 10 or 15 laps on a restart and into a green flag run. And then you had some tough luck there on the backstretch. So before we get into the backstretch incident, how was the car doing for you prior to that?
It was actually better than I expected. As you know, our setup at T4X, we've been able to run the bottom for a couple seasons now, and that's kind of where I have preferred to start running here the last couple of seasons. So as we got started tonight on the short run, I wasn't very good, but as the laps kind of continued on, I was able to kind of start picking cars off here and there on the bottom side. And I tried the high side a couple times where DK and some of those guys were running, and I was always about a 10 slower up there, and I was usually pretty tight. So for me tonight, I mainly ran down on the bottom just because the car turned better down there for some reason. Even though it was a tighter turn, around the apron and sometimes being that low, but the car turned better down there, and I was able to make quite a bit of ground up. I think I saw Majeski down on the apron a few times, but he could put his car anywhere, so that didn't really matter. But other than him and myself, there wasn't too many guys that went down that far that often. So it would have been interesting if I hadn't wrecked out, if I could have been there in that last green flag run to see how far I could have got. I know the posse guys would have been tough to beat, but felt like I was competitive with those guys up until the wreck there.
Yeah, and it's a good segue that you have there for us. So what exactly happened there on the wreck? I mean, we watched the replay, and you're on the outside there of Ken Warren, and Michael Goodard was just below him, and it's got really tight. But from your point of view, I'm sure you've had a chance to rewatch it there a few times after that wreck. What happened?
Yeah, on the initial green flag there, I don't know if Joe got a bad start or if I anticipated the start just a little bit too early. I kind of got in the back of him, which kind of just gave me a bad restart. So a couple guys in the bottom were able to slide up in front of me going into turn one, and in order to not run over them, I just set it out even higher than they were, and it actually stuck. So I got back to the outside of Ken there, and everything just kind of came together on the exit of the corner. I was heated at the moment, but once I watched it, it was just tight racing, and it's kind of what Irwindale is. You get cars coming up off the bottom and cars coming up off the high side, and especially if you get three wide there, it gets pretty tight. So yeah, just a tough break. Obviously kind of disappointed. Felt like I had a top 5 car for sure, but that's how it goes sometimes. Yeah, these long races especially, you just got to be there at the end and finish the races. So that was the strategy up until that point, and it just didn't work out.
Yeah, and it was a tough break there for you, unfortunately. But we'll shift away from that, and we'll go to the admin side of it here. Me and Ian announced this race, and there was some really good racing all around the track. If it was up front or in the back, in the middle, or what have you. So as the admin, unfortunately, you got to watch the second half of the race almost. What do you take away from all this, and how do you think it went for a 300-lap race?
Yeah, I thought it was a pretty good race overall. I know we had like 9 cautions or whatever, which normally would be a little bit too much, but for a 300-lap race, that's not that bad. And we had many green flag runs. Didn't seem like there was too many back-to-backs, which kind of helped the flow of the race throughout the night. So that part of it was good. And then because we had those green flag runs, you saw the line change multiple times. Guys were kind of set up for the high side, or guys like myself who are on the bottom, I can only run down there, and guys are able to make different different grooves work at different times. So it was interesting to see the dynamic throughout the race change of who could run the bottom for a couple laps and then have to move back up to the high side or vice versa. So that part of it was really cool to watch and be a part of. And obviously Majeski out front, I noticed earlier we did a test session before the race, and he was putting his car wherever he wanted, and that's dangerous when you can do something like that. So he dominated the race, but behind him there was quite a bit of good action, which was it's always a good thing to see.
Yeah, I mean it was fun to announce, and with Ian's help, I appreciate Ian coming on board here tonight and helping me out with this 300 lap race. It was fun to watch and fun to announce. But before we get you on your way here, is there any shout outs or anything that you'd like to give?
From the driver's side of things, I'll thank the teammates, Daryl Hammond and Russell Berry. You didn't help out this week, Derek, so I'll just thank them. But they helped with the setup. I actually ran a version of Daryl's setup that he ran in the LCQ last week and did pretty well with, so I made a couple changes to that, and it was pretty good. And obviously Russell had a good night working his way through the field as well. So thanks to the T4X guys, and then as always, got to thank the sponsors. Got to thank all the sponsors, obviously, but especially for tonight. Tundra Super Sim Series, or Tundra Super Late Models, sponsoring our Sim Series, as well as Loco Toco Designs, and that Midwest Powersource for being the title sponsor of the race here tonight. Dynamic Auto Sports for helping out with the Hard Charger Award, and even Midwest Race Updates for sponsoring last week's qualifying night. We can't do it without the sponsors, so I appreciate them anytime they're able to help us out and on big events like this, so that's pretty cool. And last but not least, thank you guys for broadcasting. Seems like our first couple weeks of SARA TV are going pretty well. Guys are enjoying it, so that's pretty cool, and hopefully we can keep up the good work.
Yeah, well, thank you for everything that you do, and thank you for the sponsors as well that help us out. We're all spokes on a wheel here, so we all need to do our part to make this successful, and it is successful right now, and it's just going to keep growing. So yeah, so it's a tough luck for you here tonight, and I'm sure you'll bounce back next week in South Boston. And we'll just see you then.
All right, sounds good. Thanks.
All right, thanks, bud. That's going to do it here tonight, Ian. As we had 300 laps and seen Tom Majeski just dominate and stomp the field into the ground. Like stated, I appreciate you coming on board here tonight, and helping announce. I do appreciate it, because 300 laps by myself, I probably wouldn't have a voice right now. So I thoroughly enjoyed it with you, and I hope you do come back here with us again and do some more.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It was enjoyable for doing it for another kind of group a couple nights a week. It was fun to come back to a league I've run so much, and to see it from this point of view was definitely different. I've helped out adminning a long time ago, but it was very fun to broadcast the league I've raced in for so many, like 4 years. So it was definitely a lot of fun to do with you guys, and thanks for having me on.
Yeah, not a problem. We'll have to get you back in here again. And before we go away, we'll go ahead and pull up the sponsors here real quick. The SARA sponsors, as Matt pointed out, we can't do it without them. So we got the Tundra Super Late Models, the Loco Toco Designs, and Midwest Powersource Inc. who sponsored the race here tonight. Heinz Pride Leather, Sheepskin, Callaway Investment, Epic Media, Our Insurance Options, Back 40 Wraps Inc., Down East Chassis Works, Old School Motorsports, Dr. Noise, Area 52 Designs, Midwest Race Updates, and Dynamic Auto Sports. And next week we will be at South Boston Speedway, as we just talked with Matt about, for the Dr. Noise 150. So be sure to show up here next week, next Thursday night at 9:30, as we get events underway for that, for our broadcast for the Dr. Noise 150 at South Boston. Bill always runs good there. His Dr. Noise is his alternative ego, if you will. And he always runs good there, so we'll see how he does there next week. And before we head off, we'll go ahead and look at the final results here one more time, as we will, as it has Tom Majeski up here, as like I said, as the winner. Get the results up. There we go. Joe Schaefer Jr. was second, Bill Martin third, Michael Goodard fourth, Keith Metarose fifth, Dallas Pataska sixth, Jimmy Mullis, series points leader going into tonight, seventh. Russell Berry is your hard charger, eighth. Trevor Edwards, ninth. Mike Carlson rounds out your top 10 here tonight. Thanks, Evan. Ends for everyone here at SARA and SARA TV. We'd like to thank you for coming out here tonight for the Midwest Powersource Springfest 300. Wherever you may be and however you may be listening, have a good night. Thank you.